Hey, good evening, everyone. My name's Dan Whitfield. I'm the independent candidate running for United States Senate here in Arkansas. Today, I figured we could go ahead and start looking at some of the Arkansas results as they start to come in. We can also talk about the presidential election or whatever y'all want to talk about. I'll be here all night. I've got orange juice vodka ready to drink my sorrows away with y'all. So, on my screen here, you should be able to see. I have CNN pulled up right now, but we can go through different news sources as well. And I've got like 4 other monitors pulled up around that y'all can't see, so I can kind of keep up to date with what's going on and where things are happening. Let me refresh this New York Times here. So yeah, awesome. I hope you all can ask some questions, share your thoughts and opinions about this election, what's happening, and we will also go over again what's happening in Arkansas, county by county results as they pop in for both the presidential election and the Senate race against Tom Cotton and the Libertarian Ricky Harrington. I'm sure we're all really excited to see what's going to happen, if there will be a huge upset on the presidential or the Senate side. So awesome. Thank you all for joining me. Let me go ahead and unmute this so we can listen to this in the background, kind of see what's going on.
Graphics, we often sort of talk about it with just sort of in a way that where we're saying all demographics benefits the Democrats, but that's not always the case. In Florida, Joe Biden is struggling because he's struggling with Latino voters in Florida in particular, but we might see him benefiting from
Hey Janie, Maui,
voters
thank you so much,
coming
Maui.
out
I
for him
appreciate it.
in
I can't
places
wait till we
Georgia,
can
in
hang out
places
again.
like
I'm
Ohio,
really excited.
in places like North Carolina as well. So we'll see what happens, but it's not going to be necessarily an even story all across the map because of these different populations acting in different ways.
And you said non-white voters. I think the other thing that's interesting that we're seeing is that white voters,
I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a good
either
Fox
college educated or
News
not,
stream as well.
you kind of think of
It looks like
more
Fox News is on
historically
commercial
for
right
Donald
now.
Trump. It seems to be changing, at least in the exit polls that we're seeing so far.
Well, there are in some of these states it's a smaller percentage of voters that are white.
Yep.
And Donald Trump is not doing as well with them, even if he is winning them. And it's
right.
those different kinds of margins that will determine this election ultimately. And of course, there's also
So
different
it looks
kinds
like so
of
far,
Latino voters, for example. There's
some of the
Latino
races
voters
are already
who
called.
are largely Cuban American,
now,
Venezuelan
again,
American
they're
in southern Florida. And then there's Latino voters who are largely Mexican American in Arizona, and it's a very diverse group politically, in addition to where their ancestors are from. The other thing that's very interesting is how Biden is, even though he's doing worse with some of these groups.
Okay, so let's see here. There are a few states that have already been called. Now, some of these states that have been called are not 100% final. I think there still are mail-in votes that do need to come in as well. But it looks like Joe Biden has... Oh, that's less than 1% for Illinois. See, I saw 4029 just called Oklahoma for Donald Trump, but it looks like they only have 13% of the votes reported. So only 13% in Oklahoma. It looks like, ooh, wow, 90% of the votes are now recorded in Florida, with 50.5 going to Donald Trump and 48.5% going to Joe Biden. So Donald Trump in Florida got 5.3 million votes, and Joe Biden got 5.1 million votes. So that's still a really close race, and there are enough votes that have not been counted that can change the outcome of Florida. I guess that can go either way still. Let's see here. Only 18% of the 20% of the estimated votes now in Georgia. So let's look for something a little more solid. South Carolina, 9%, 62, South Carolina, North Carolina. North Carolina might go to Joe Biden. He's at 53.9% above Donald Trump's 44.9%. But again, only 62% of the votes have been counted at this point.
Trump wins West Virginia, 5 electoral votes. Too early to call in the state of Arkansas, which has 6 electoral votes.
So West Virginia, it's only saying on the Times that it's 13% counted at this point.
Has 42 electoral college votes. Biden has 30, once again 270 needed to win the presidency. Let's get a key race alert right now.
Just called on Fox News. It looks like Fox News is now calling Arkansas for Tom Cotton.
Biden is ahead 53.9% to 44.9% in North Carolina. In the key battleground state of Ohio, 44% of the estimated vote is in. Biden is ahead there by an impressive 284,000 votes, 54.5% to Trump's 44.3%, 18 electoral votes in Ohio. In the key battleground state of Pennsylvania, only 6% of the estimated vote is in, but Biden is ahead by about almost 79,000 votes, 58.7% to 40.7%, 20 electoral votes in Pennsylvania. In Texas right now, almost half of the vote is in, 45%. Biden is ahead in Texas right now by 250,000 votes, 51.7%.
Oh no, gotta keep my OBS. It switched over to my Facebook feed. Let's change this capture window back over for y'all. Sorry about that.
Electoral votes in Texas. In New Hampshire right now, 10% of the vote is now in. Biden is ahead there by about 7,500 votes, 53.7% for Biden, 45.3% for Trump. 4 electoral votes in New Hampshire right now. Too early to call in several of these states. We're monitoring right now, once again, Florida, Michigan, Georgia, and Virginia. We cannot make any projections in those states right now. Too early to call right now. But let's take a look at the vote in those states right now. In Florida right now, 90% of the vote is in Florida. Trump is ahead by about 226,000 votes, 50.5%. to Biden's 48.4% in Florida. In Michigan, right now, only 4% of the vote is in. Trump is ahead by 39,000 votes. Right now, only 7.5% to 40.6%. In Georgia, 57.5% to 42% of the estimated vote is in. In Georgia, numbers are increasing. 22% of the estimated vote is in. Trump is ahead by an impressive 154,000 votes right now. 56.2% to 42.8%.
Oh man, I messed that all right up.
30% of the vote is in. Trump is ahead, also impressive, 260,000 vote lead in Virginia over Biden, 58.3% to 39.6%. Let's go back to John King at the Magic Wall. I'm really curious to see what we're seeing in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
It's interesting that we have a lot of places on the map that at this moment in time, and remember this was going to be that night because of the combination, mail-in voting, early in-person voting, election day voting, different states handling those ballots in different ways. The map looks a little different than we expected. Now, we'll see where it ends up. That's what makes tonight exciting. Makes it exciting. But you're looking at a map right now that has Kansas in blue, Virginia in red, where I started my career, Rhode Island in red. I don't expect it to end that way. Michigan's in red at the moment, but again, we're waiting for votes to be counted. We're very preliminary in some of these states. And on the flip side,
I'm just adding some new windows so we can have multiple of these up at the same time.
Texas is blue, Mississippi is blue, South Carolina is blue, which tells you what? A, we're having an unusual night because of the pandemic election and the different ways people are voting and the different ways states are counting. Everybody needs to be patient. Number two, it's just without a doubt, though, even as I say that, and even as we have a long way to go, we are seeing a very different map.
Let's mute CNN for a minute and get Fox News on.
Joe Biden didn't go out and meet.
And I know some of y'all don't like Fox News. Some of y'all don't like CNN, but we're going to switch back and forth.
And it could conceivably be
because it's good to see what all these different medias are projecting.
To go out and vote may be the difference.
Yeah, just a couple other things to point out here. I'd love to get Britt to weigh in on this. Looking at these voter analysis in Florida, would you say that Joe Biden is a strong leader? 3% say yes. Would you say that Donald Trump is a strong leader? And you've got 86% of those who say yes to that going with President Trump. Same kind of breakdown that we're seeing in Honest and Trustworthy. President Trump does not fare well on that, didn't fare well on it in 2016, and yet it looks like people are leaning in his direction regardless of that. They think Joe Biden is very honest and trustworthy.
So I'm refreshing Arkansas real quick. Let's see here. I'm still not seeing the county results yet for Arkansas.
By the way, folks,
it's so funny though. Winner Tom Cotton wins re-election, race called, but they haven't reported any of the counties yet. It says expected soon, so we're waiting to see what that is going to come down to.
So at least some people who have money on the line have begun
Add
to think that
crop
Mr.
to
Trump
this
has a better chance than they
new
did for
screen
many
here.
weeks, because the betting averages didn't move at all. A couple other things, Martha.
top.
We've talked about the gender gap. Women outnumber men in this country 50.5% to 49.5%. That's been true for some years now. In this electorate, according to our voter analysis poll, or whatever we're calling it, it's 53-46 in this electorate, women over men, and Joe Biden's winning that cohort by 18 percentage points. Of course, that's it's a national number, so it doesn't necessarily tell you much about the battleground states or anything like that, but it's something to keep an eye on through the night, because
All right, I am
we are
already
you guys are the
done
majority,
listening
Martha,
to
and,
Fox
and
for now, so let's switch this back to CNN and listen to them a little bit more.
Round up 275,000 vote lead. That gets hard to overcome at some point.
66% of the vote in North Carolina is in, and Biden has a 275,000 vote lead. I want to check in with David Chalian right now. So we have a sense, David, how much of this vote is early vote? How much of it is today vote?
We do have that sense. As John was just showing you, what you see here now is a Joe Biden lead. He's got 2 million votes to Donald Trump's 1.7 million. This is 66% of the estimated vote that is in North Carolina right now. But Wolf, I want to show you what percentage of that is early vote. 97% of the current vote that you're looking at in North Carolina is early vote. That's benefiting Joe Biden. In fact, in the big Democratic counties, in Charlotte,
Sorry about that, y'all.
in Wake County, and in Raleigh area, it's almost all early vote, those big Democratic
Originally,
counties. And we
I was
expect
just going to be doing
the share of the early
one
vote
screen at a
to
time, but I figured I'd throw in an extra one.
the total vote at the end of the night. That could
So I had it
benefit
up,
Donald
just
Trump
set up for
as
one.
more election day vote comes in. So it's just
So let's see here. I'm going to refresh all this stuff and see if we've got much of a change in here.
Is early vote, and that is benefiting
So
Joe Biden.
Arkansas is showing only 1% of the estimated votes, and they called it already. That's amazing.
In Ohio, I think what we see here is that Joe Biden's also benefiting from early vote there, but there's more early vote to come in there. So, take a look here. We have 49% of the total estimated vote in. 29% of it right now is early vote. We think that's
So far, almost everything that's been reported in Arkansas is in Independence County, which is just west and southwest of Jonesboro. So that's where all their numbers are coming from right now.
That's very interesting, and John, as you and I well know, no Republican has ever, and you've pointed this out, has ever won the White House without carrying Ohio.
Right, it was so critical. Obama took it back from George W. Bush. Remember the 2004 election? People forget how close 2004 was. 2004 came down to one state, Ohio. That was the first election after 9/11. It was a very close state. But let's come up now to 2020. We can do history another day because we have history unfolding before us right now. And in 2020 right now, this is a very important point that David just made. And this is why we've said throughout the night, we need you to be patient at home. This is all real. These are real votes. However, the context is we're waiting, right? So a lot of this is early vote. We know Democrats voted disproportionately in some states more than others. North Carolina is one of the states where we know Democrats disproportionately voted early. Democrats returned their ballots early in the mail-in voting. So now we watch to see the election day vote. And again, that's why the president was traveling the country in the last week.
It is always best to have different sources, for sure.
Trying to get his people to show up today because he knew coming into today he was behind. This tells us that was in fact correct. And so you're looking here in Mecklenburg County, which is the largest county in the state, and you bring it up. The challenge is, we think this is about 84% of the vote. Joe Biden will win.
Oh, I have a few comments here on Facebook. Let's see.
County. It's Charlotte and the suburbs around it. The question is, can Donald Trump get up?
Come on, Georgia, shock us. Absolutely. That would be wonderful.
Race, right? In the places you see on this map that are blue right now, Joe Biden's leads are enormous. That's Charlotte. This is Winston-Salem. Again,
PBS is really good. I've got New York Times, PBS, CBS, I guess I could throw C-SPAN up here and see what C-SPAN's throwing out.
Change here. 4 years ago, Donald Trump carries the state.
I'm going to drop
With
this
the early
Fox
vote,
News
Joe
off
Biden
of
has a
this
much
monitor
bigger
here.
advantage. Now we have to count the rest. We have to finish. We have to finish. We might
So
be 2/3, 3/4 even the way
C-SPAN.
around the track. We're not finished. And we have to wait for those votes to come in before we can tally. Joe Biden is doing what he needs to do.
Says they'll be
Impressively,
live in about
actually,
20
when you
more
look at
minutes, so
places,
no
but we're not
C-SPAN
at the
yet.
finish line yet. So you come up here to Durham County. Again, 83% in.
Again,
Let's see what
Arkansas
that
has
election
only
day vote
reported
comes in.
10,700
President Trump narrowed
votes.
this gap.
So
That's
it
ouch.
says Tom Cotton is
582
won
to 17.
79%.
If you look at it
Not
that
yet.
way, you go
That's
back in
just
time,
getting
it was
started. I
4
believe
years
we have
ago,
1 hour
80
left
to 18,
until our
but
polls
again,
close here in
a race on the
Arkansas.
margins. Can he get it just a little bit closer? A little bit closer. Even in a place you're not going to win, you got to get it a little bit closer. And then just pull back out again. Number 2.
Thank you,
this is
Andrea. I
Democrats
really
spent a
appreciate
lot
your
of time
support.
here.
I
Big
did
county,
not vote for
second largest
Cotton
county in the
either.
state, one of the places that is growing again. You start in the city, you move out to the suburbs.
Deanna,
65,
they said Cotton won, but he hasn't won yet because they've only reported 10,700 votes, which is less than 1%. And the one county that they have reported right now is Independence County, which is west and southwest of Jonesboro. It's a really rural area and more conservative.
These are the smaller, more rural counties. Let's just go back in time. We don't have anything there. This is where Hillary Clinton actually won Chatham County, so that's an opportunity there for the Democrats. If it comes in, we have nothing there so far in a place. Let's come back to 2020 here again. You come over here, you start getting between Asheville and Winston-Salem, right? This is an interesting area. The president tends to run it up in places like this. We don't have anything yet. You come back in time. This was a 68% county 4 years ago. So this is what you want to watch. When the rest of it comes in, these are smaller counties, so it's hard to overcome a big lead. 250,000 votes. When you're at 67%, you're starting to get into the danger zone. But there's room. There's room on this map for the president to certainly narrow it. I want to check one more down here in Fayetteville and bring this out. Cumberland County, again, president did a rally here just the other night, 60 to 38, 56 to 40. Got to get up a little bit more. Again, you say, oh, that's not that much. It can matter in a very close race to narrow those margins. So let's wait to see if the president can get his vote total up, narrow the margins a little bit as we go through it. And again, you're spending extra time on these states because Joe Biden does not need this. Joe Biden can win the presidency without North Carolina. If Joe Biden wins North Carolina, the president's math gets near impossible. And let's pull back out because another place, if president lost this, it would be near impossible, but they're feeling pretty good. We're not ready yet. Florida's hard. We wait. We count every last vote.
Yeah,
so about that one.
Let's look at some of the presidential stuff that's going on. I'm trying to focus on our Arkansas elections here in our state, if possible.
That could easily change, but show us the electoral
Let's see here.
Where things stand right now as far as the projections we've already done.
Right, okay, so let's looking at this map before I walk over to this map here. Texas, Kansas, Missouri, blue. Right. That would be something. If in a few hours,
Arkansas elections.
that would be something. But again, please bear with us and bear with these election officials because they're all doing their job. Whether they're Democrats or Republicans, large counties, small counties, these are amazing people. And so they're counting. They have mail-in votes. They have
Senate full race results. Oh, let's see here.
Turnout is up everywhere. So these volunteers, they're always stressed.
Rick Crawford, uncontested. So one thing I don't really understand about Rick Crawford is he ran unopposed. We had a Republican run unopposed for the United States Congress, the House. Unopposed. And somehow he raised like $924,000 and spent $970,000. How do you spend $970,000 when you are running unopposed? Insane. It looks like we have 0% reported for the rest of the state right now. Ballot measures. It looks like issue number 3 against right now with only 3,000 votes counted. So that's really good. Issue number 3 is terrible. Wow. Issue number 2, term limits in office. That's what they called it, but it's actually removing term limits, which is insane. And that was even brought to court because of the misleading wording, and the Arkansas Supreme Court decided to leave it on the ballot. And then support a permanent transportation sales tax. Says with 4,000 votes, 58% is for. State Senate, let's see here. Hester. Oh, not called yet. So District 7 unopposed, District 11 unopposed. Let's see here. State House, 1, 2, 4, unopposed. All right. So let's go ahead and refresh this. Put some of this stuff back on here.
Votes in a giant state like Texas, and so you're looking at the map again. I just want to go back in time. Most of this is going to fill in red. Most of them are small counties, but it just adds up after a while. So the challenge.
Of course, it was Fox. They're all gonna. Fox will declare all the states were Republicans before 2% of the votes have been counted. It's crazy.
A lot of growing suburbs in Texas. You look at Dallas again. Democrats flipped a House seat here 2 years ago. They hope to build. They think they can even pick up more House seats here down in the Austin area as well. 66%.
I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to Fox News for just a little bit.
That's what you want to do. Expand what the last Democrat did and grow. So that's so far a building block there. Let's come back to 2020. Move down. Largest county in the state is right here. It's the size of Rhode Island. It would be the 25th.
Go ahead and mute that. Switch over to a Fox News channel. Where is my Fox News channel? Here it is.
Basically, the president says we're looking good all over the country. Time will tell. And I know that's a cliche, but it's true tonight. Martha, Brett?
You know, John, real quick, Ohio, we've got the board pulled up here, and that vote, as we said, early vote going for Joe Biden in Ohio. There was confidence, though, in the Trump campaign about the situation on the ground in Ohio, right?
Yeah, and of course, you know, early voting tends to favor Democrats, but they believe as the numbers start to come in that things will turn around. They really do believe that Ohio is going to go into the win column for them. But this idea of if Florida is called, I mean, clearly it's not going to affect the vote because the vote's already been taken, but it certainly will be a big
So it looks like right now the Senate is 42 Democrats, 35 Republicans. Let's see, Joe Biden has 85 electoral votes right now, and it looks like Donald Trump has 61.
They want to make sure they've got it, all those I's dotted and T's crossed. Our thanks to John. We'll go back to him later tonight. Peter Ducey is
pull up
also with
these
us.
more likely needles.
He has spent quite a bit of time over the past several months in Wilmington, Delaware, covering the Biden campaign. Peter, what are you hearing from their side tonight?
Well, right now, Martha, we're not hearing anything at the Biden HQ. It is very quiet, as you can see, because the 300 cars that have been queued up and swept nearby for a drive-in event tonight have not been let in. So it is kind of a surreal scene where we do.
Sorry, the Fox News is a little bit quieter.
If he has anything to say, we have heard from the Biden team that nothing has changed as of right now from the last time that they ran through their numbers with us this morning when they were confident enough to say that they thought
so it looks like Florida,
path to victory, even if they did not win.
It's going to be really close, 91% reported.
Texas. So as of right now,
pretty close for Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
They think that a lot of they're also telling us that a lot of what they think they're hearing from the Trump campaign is. So
now Donald Trump in Florida has 5.4 million votes, 50.7%, and Joe Biden has 5.16 million votes at 48.3%.
We understand that he is at home right now. He is somebody who is not big on.
We have some more. Let's see, more votes coming in Arkansas right now. It looks like we've got some more Jackson County, Saline County, Pike County, Nevada County. These are all very Republican counties, it looks like.
Advisors, some of those are standing calls, some of them are just based on things that are breaking hour by hour. And also,
let's see here, for U.S. Senate, that puts Tom Cotton at 73.8% for Tom Cotton right now, 26.2% for the Libertarian Ricky Harrington.
Staring at the motorcade, which we spend a lot of time doing when we're trying to shout a question. And we saw
looks pretty steady across the different counties. Franklin County, 80-20 for Tom Cotton. Independence County, 80-20. Jackson County, 72-27. Saline County, 72-27. And Nevada County, 67-32.
On whatever is going on. Martha?
Peter, thank you very much.
More than a dozen states, including some of the most consequential of this
All right.
2020 election.
I'm going to go ahead
Set to close
and
their polls in just a few minutes.
mute
We'll get our
Fox
first look
News
at those
one more
results
time.
just moments from now. Keep it here.
Yeah. Get that muted, and let's go ahead and unmute CNN.
57.7% to 40.2% in the Commonwealth of Virginia. All right, let's focus in a little bit on North Carolina and Ohio right now, John, because if Biden wins those two states, potentially, that could be the ball game.
Those would be the ball game. Those are two states absolutely critical. The president got 306 electoral votes 4 years ago. You take away Ohio, you take away North Carolina. Joe Biden holds the Clinton states. He's the next president of the United States without.
Yeah, it's crazy,
without
Jamie. I
taking
can't
back
believe
all over the wall. So let's
how
focus on Ohio. Let's just focus on
these
this
people
for a second.
can
Look at this right now.
call a race with some cases less than 5% of the vote being counted already. It's insane. Joyce, let me see if they've pulled in some for Joyce here yet. Okay, it looks like they've got 14% of the votes in for District 2. And for District 2 with 14% of the votes in, it looks like 70-30 French Hill. French Hill's at about 70%. Joyce Elliott is 29.6. For Arkansas District 4, it looks like Westerman 70.9, William Hanson 26.3. And we don't have any votes pulled in for District 3 yet.
Outperforming Hillary Clinton in the industrial Midwest. Look at this, 54.5, 44.3. It's almost a flip of 4 years ago. The president carried the state 52 to 44. That was a handy win, an easy win, almost an easy win for Donald Trump 4 years ago. And so now you come forward here. We're not done. We have a way to go here. We have a way to go here. But I just want to look at this in Cleveland, bring this out. That's what you want to do.
Sorry, of course, I'm getting a bunch of texts tonight. Thank you guys so much for your support, by the way. I love all of the messages that you all send me all the time, and the videos, the links, all that good stuff. Thank you so much. Yes, it looks like Grant actually had just messaged me. It's so crazy, saying that KATV has already announced Tom Cotton the winner. But what's insane about it is we've only reported. Let me see what the percentage of the vote is. 8%. Only 8% of the vote has been reported, and they haven't reported any of the counties like Washington County, which is very progressive, Pulaski County, and over in Sebastian County, and of course down by Texarkana we have Miller, Little. So there are still a lot of progressive areas that have not had their votes counted yet. So the numbers can change quite a bit. We haven't even gotten over to the Delta, Lee, Phillips, Arkansas, Desha, Ashley. We haven't gotten to any of these yet. Issues 1 and 2. For the issues right now, issue number 1 with 134,000 votes counted is at 57% for and 43% against. That is a permanent tax for our road department. Personally, I voted against it because we vote on this tax every cycle to keep it going. I think it's usually like a 4-year term, but now they're trying to make it permanent and no longer give the citizens of Arkansas the opportunity to actually vote on it. And I'm sorry for my COVID hair. I haven't gone out for a minute for a haircut, and it's no shave November, so I am growing my beard out. Let's see here. Issue number 2, term limits in office, which is actually the opposite of what it is. Issue number 2 will actually remove term limits from office. With 156,000 votes counted, it looks like 56% for, 44% against. Issue number 3, amend ballot initiative process. 140,000 votes is counted and 55% against right now. So yes, that's great. We do not want to make it harder for our Arkansan citizens to get ballot initiatives onto our ballots to be voted on.
That's how you win.
And Biden is ahead by 300,000 votes right now in Ohio. Let's do the same thing in North Carolina.
Let's come over. North Carolina blue at the moment. We're not at the finish line.
I've got all these different monitors open. It looks like C-SPAN, they're getting ready to go live here soon.
The estimated vote. Those numbers will swing a little bit too with the combination of the voting. Early votes came in first. We're waiting to see. We knew a lot of this early. Joe Biden's early lead was because of the early vote, right? The question
Let's
is,
see here.
was rallying
Oh, and for y'all that don't know, here in Arkansas, 68% of the early votes and absentee ballots cast in Arkansas were cast by Republicans. Just so you all know, that's how the early voting went here in Arkansas. Majority of it was GOP registered voters that were early voting. It's amazing, actually. You'd think that it would be Democrats early voting, but in fact it was a majority Republicans doing it this year.
Biden overperforming Hillary Clinton by a lot of places, including the places you need to vote the most. The most populous county in the state, Mecklenburg. Biden outperforming Clinton by 5% or more. 68.4. 63. This was a good county. This was a good county for Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. She did that's a very good job, right? You're looking at that, but Joe Biden is doing it even more.
Let's see here.
In this case, some of that's Joe Biden. Some of that we can, when we flip it and look at the president.
59-44 Cotton. See, it's getting closer as more votes turn in, because there we go. It looks like, let me refresh my page here.
By population, run up the vote. That's what Joe Biden's doing. 65 to 33, 58 to 37. That's where it matters.
Is that Pulaski County? Looks like it's coming in.
You pull it out this way. This is where Biden is overperforming, right? Is Biden underperforming anywhere? Let's check on that one first. Again, one county, one Republican county. That's a pretty good record. So now we've got to flip it this way. Where's the president underperforming? Several counties so far. Not a ton, not a lot. It's a very competitive state. So if you're the Trump campaign, that's not horrible. You don't want to underperform anywhere. Let's see if the president is overperforming anywhere, which is the key. Can you do better than you did in a couple of these smaller counties down here? That's what makes it a battleground state. But the key here.
Right. Let's see what else we got going on here. I'm trying to pull up the individual counties.
You lived the last campaign. Those are a lot of important places.
The New York Times is not updating.
Charlotte, Raleigh. Those are where the Democratic votes are. Cities surrounded by suburbs. The farther out in the suburbs you can go, that's
here
what
we
Democrats
go.
are trying to do. And so if you're Joe Biden, especially again,
so
down
from
here
the
along
Associated
coast,
Press,
places that flip, New Hanover County, you're along the coast, Wilmington 52-47. 4 years ago, it was the other way, 50 to 46. You're flipping counties because you're overperforming. These are suburban voters.
We're at 23% reporting the Associated Press is called.
But if you're coming in here now, let me just turn this off as we go and look. Here's where we are.
And if I break it down by counties,
that's a little closer. The election day
let's go into U.S. Senate here.
The lead is shrinking a little bit. And again, as the election day vote comes in, you're watching.
So yeah, 60.9 to 39.1.
North Carolina, this is number 21. This is where the president does it. 70%, things like that. You come back in time. 72%, right? So this is where he does it here in North Carolina. We're going to watch this play out. I just want to pull out the map just to see if anything else has changed. Come back to 2020 and take a look. Texas is still blue. Let's just take a peek.
Let's see. Oh, it's crazy. Hey, Luba, thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe these broadcasters are able to call states and wins for candidates with like 1 or 5 or 10 or 20 or even 30 or even like 80%. If you have a 50-50 race and only 80% of the votes have been counted, you can't call that race.
But we got a long way to go here. Let's just come back to Ohio, the state that could decide it all. Again, the president needs this one. Absolutely needs this one.
All right, I'm trying to see real quick.
54 to 45.
I can get straight onto the APs so I can pull these by county.
But
it looks like the Associated Press is getting information
that's the second biggest wave of results
before
156 electoral votes are up for grabs. We're watching
New York Times is getting it.
battleground states from Arizona in the west to Michigan and Wisconsin in the Midwest. We have a
So
projection right now.
174.
CNN projects that Joe Biden will win the state of New York, and with its 29 electoral votes, Biden beats Trump in New York State. We cannot make projections at this hour in these
So it looks
states,
like
Arizona,
with 26% reporting here in Arkansas, Tom Cotton is at 61.2% with 207,000 votes. Ricky Harrington, the Libertarian, is at 38.8% with 131,000 votes. Let me see if I can check the House.
He has 59 electoral votes to Trump's 42 electoral votes. You need 270.
Okay, we're finally getting some reports for the House, which is awesome. Let's see here. So, District 1, Rick Crawford was running unopposed. He won that race. District 2, where we have Joyce Elliott and French Hill. Wow, what a close race this is going to be. Now,
Biden is ahead there. An impressive 281,000.
let me turn that down just a little bit. Now, again, it's really important you understand only 43% of the district has reported. But with 43% reporting, French Hill is leading 50.8% with 109,000 votes. And Joyce Elliott is at 49.2% with 106,000 votes. So this race is almost within 3,000 votes, about 3,200 votes. So that's going to be a really close race in District 2. It would be amazing to flip one of these GOP stooges off of the Republican group that they have here. And here, finally, we have some District 3 reporting. District 3 only has 4% reporting right now. And it looks like with 4% reporting, Steve Womack is leading 80.2%, 10,000 votes to Celeste Williams, 17.2% with 2,300 votes. And then the Libertarians got a couple hundred votes. And District number 4 with Bruce Westerman and William Hanson. Bruce Westerman's at 71.6%, only 14% reporting. So 71.6, about 53,000 votes. William Hanson is 25.6% with about 19,000. And it looks like, as far as the presidential election is going right now, Joe Biden is leading 119 electoral votes to Trump's 94. Let's turn this back up for y'all.
You see a lot of blue as well.
It's an interesting map right now, so I'm going to go through some of the big ones that we're going to watch as we play out right now. And we'll start in Ohio, but then I just want to explain some of these other states that look a little different right now, and we'll see. We could have a different election night. We'll see. This is the big one for me, Ohio, and the more of this is starting to fill in, right? So I just want to show you 2016. You see all this red in here. That's what you're looking for. Those are the small
keep checking
counties
some of
where
these
the president brought it
comments.
up. But as they fill in,
Yes,
Joe
Jason,
Biden's
161 more.
About 53%.
Man, French Hill used terrible tactics, and I think he's even been caught pocketing campaign contributions by falsifying FEC filings for travel expenses that weren't really travel expenses. So I'm surprised he's even eligible to run.
That's impressive. The question is, when the later votes come in, do you keep that?
Hey, Jeannie, thank you so much for joining me. I saw your messages 4 minutes ago. I hope you're still here. I hope you're feeling better. Send me a message sometime. I hope you're doing all right.
Up to 61% of the vote. It's close. It's close. It's a moral victory, but it's also a little bit of the math, right? The Democrats want to expand in the suburbs. As you can pick up 1,000 votes anywhere in a place tight as Ohio, you try to do it. So let's move out of Ohio. One place that's been red for a long time, people from home probably asking what's going on in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It has become more of a blue state, but look, the president has a healthy lead right now, 57%. That's not insignificant at all. However, I just want to make the point, this is where the votes are in Virginia.
Yeah, and Virginia's going to be an important one.
The largest county in the state.
But what I'm really keeping my eye on right now is Florida. Florida, it's up to 92% reported, and with 92% reported, Donald Trump is leading 51 to 48.1%. But again, you know, this race is still within about
We have
two.
more projections right now. CNN now projects that Joe Biden will win the state of New Jersey, will win its 14 electoral votes.
Yeah, I don't believe these predictions. You can't predict something with 5% of the vote. Let's see what New Jersey's at. Actually, New Jersey, only 26% reported, and they have predictions of who's winning. So let them predict all they want. But, I mean, I do see Joe Biden is leading about 60 to 40. So, I mean, he has a pretty fair lead. But, again, that can switch very easily. But Florida now, with 92% reporting, that's going to be a big one. And it's within about 250,000 votes, which there are plenty of votes left uncounted right now that could change.
That's happened so far. On this map, these were all solid states. The red states you see for the president, whether it's Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, we had those solid Trump coming in, so no surprises here. Over here, where we're counting votes, potential surprises. You look at these states up here again, no surprises here. Massachusetts, Vermont, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, New York. Those were solid Biden states coming in. So 73 for Biden, 48 for the president. The question is, where do the big prizes go, right? So let's remember this map, right? It's as it was, which is.
Let me see if I can fix this Fox News.
We go back 4 years ago. This was the Trump map. So nothing has changed so far.
Change the crop on this just a little bit.
For now, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. But if that changes, and that changes, right there gets Trump down to 273.
There we go.
So imagine that, right? So then, if you're looking around, Joe Biden, you have a chance in Arizona. We're not there yet. We got a long way to go before we get west, right? If you keep looking at this map, Joe Biden had a healthy lead at the end of the campaign in Michigan. He had a decent lead at the end of the campaign in Wisconsin. He thinks he can win Pennsylvania, although we'll see how that one goes. But
yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, let's see if we've got some more Arkansas results in. Last we were at about 26%.
Anyway, and if you can add Ohio to that, then it's just a buffet.
Come back here.
I mean, it's a buffet of possibility to run it up and to take away the president's map. So if you're the president and you're looking at this right now,
it only went up about another 2% for the Arkansas race. So we're still only at about 28% reported.
That was a double-digit lead, right? We don't know. We're going to count votes in Michigan. He's overcome deficits before. Not quite that big in 2016, though. It's a bigger deficit. But if you're in the president's campaign and you think you may lose those two, look
that
where
one's
you
way
are
behind.
now.
So let's see here.
And so Joe Biden, if he can get Michigan and Wisconsin, and we're just
I want to try to pull up some of these other ones. Let's see the ballot measures if they've updated at all.
This is why, if you're the Trump campaign,
oh, wow. Okay. So we are at about 18% reporting for the ballot measures. Issue number 1, 53.1% for, 46.9% against. So again, with only... Wow, only 18% reporting, we can still see any of these ballot measures go either way. Again, 18% reporting, it looks like 57.9. Okay, they just raised it from 18% to 19% reporting. And it looks like issue 1, 53% for, issue 2, 53.2% for, and issue number 3 is 57.9 against. So awesome. As far as presidential goes, with it looks like 31% reporting for the U.S. presidential race. Donald Trump is in the lead, 58.2% to Joe Biden's 39.4%. Looks like Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian, was able to pull in 0.9%, 3,700. Kanye West, wow, I can't believe he got more than one vote. Insane. It looks like he was able to pull in 0.3% so far with 1,100 votes. And the Green Party member Howie Hawkins, 0.2 with 823 votes. Wow, there's a lot of other miscellaneous people.
This is where the Democrats are doing it. I haven't come over here at all tonight. Let me
all right.
Lucas County. Look at this.
So back to U.S. Senate race. 30% reporting U.S. Senate race. We got Tom Cotton, 62.3% to Ricky Harrington's 37.7%.
Where does that math go? We go back 4 years ago.
Let's check the House again, see if we've had much of a change in the House.
See where you are now. 73-26. That matters. That matters. Those margins matter.
All right, we're up to 43% reporting now for the Arkansas District 2 House. We got 50.7 for French Hill and 49.3 for Joyce Elliott. This is within, wow, 1%. This is insane.
That's a big difference. And so if Joe Biden can
it's about, I mean, about a 3,200 vote difference. Again, still in District 3, only 4% reporting. No reason to really talk about that. Steve Womack, 80. Celeste, 17. District 4, Bruce Westerman, 71. William Hanson, 25, with 14% reporting. So we'll keep an eye on that.
This is a place where the president has votes. We'll see if they turn out this time. He had votes
see
last
here.
time. Let's see if they turn out this time. If I had votes last time, I just want to show you 46%, right?
See what CBS is saying here.
It's the 10th of the 88 counties in Ohio. It's the 10th largest. So this matters in terms of the votes. And it matters not only here, you go across the border, then you're in Pennsylvania. These two come together in these blue-collar communities. This was the fight of 2016. Ohio
Florida is up to 93% reporting.
Wisconsin, it's the same people. The same people who swung it. So let's pull back out and take a look at it. Let's come back to 2020 and look. Where else are you looking? You look down here. Hamilton County is Cincinnati. Again, Joe Biden running it up 69, about halfway there again. So when you're halfway, you're looking at it, you're placing a marker. You say that's.
So let's see here. Tom Cotton is already tweeting you. Thank you, Arkansas. Thinks he won, but only 31% reporting.
If that stays there, that's a while. But you're only halfway there. So you're thinking there's early vote here. The question is what happens to the election day turnout. This used to be a Republican area. This is, again, changing the community because of the suburbs. And as Joe Biden tries to win Ohio tonight, and that would be a statement right there. Game over.
I am going to switch it back to Fox News for just a little bit.
as
it
well.
looks like they have
again,
possibly
this is the
some
capital.
better content.
Democratic area right in Columbus. Labor unions, African American vote. This Democrat will run it up here, but it's when you get out here and you get out into the suburbs. If you're running 75%, you come back in time, 60% vote.
Math tells me about 500,000, about 500,000 votes there. So that's about the mark where we were last time around 2016. Just hold on to these percentages and watch where we are now. So you're at 68.4%, a little better than Hillary Clinton did 4 years ago. But in a race in a state that was decided 4 years ago by, what was it, 3.5 points? You know, perhaps that makes a difference here in 2020.
So it looks like right now, let me refresh this. I know it's all refreshing automatically, but just... All right, so it looks like Joe Biden is in the lead electoral vote-wise, 119 to Donald Trump's 94.
She met the number at 81,000 as well.
We're at about 31% reporting for Arkansas now.
Still have about 35,000 votes outstanding in 2020.
Nothing really changed as far as districts
4 years ago. Pop down
for the House.
when we came on the air a couple hours ago. This is Robeson County, one of 6
do
counties.
some math. I'm curious real quick. I want to see how many people have voted for president versus how many people have voted for U.S. Senate so far. So we've got 237,446 plus 158, 672 plus 3781 plus 1151 plus 823.
And we were warned to tell our viewers, and we'll remind them yet again,
40,
that early on in the night the numbers were going to skew blue, and then the in-person votes would come in places like North Carolina, in places like Georgia, and Florida. That seems to be a bit of the pattern we're seeing right
plus
now.
423. Okay, that's close enough. So for president so far, with 31% reporting, we're looking about 405,000 people have voted for president. So,
the vote that is coming in there so far, Bill.
So for president, 31% reporting, we're about 405,000 people have voted, and then at the same time, 249, 361 plus 148, 969, and only 398,330. So it looks like already at this point, with 30% of the vote reported and counted, we have had about 7,000 people who voted for president that did not vote for either Tom Cotton or Ricky Harrington that chose not to vote. So that's 7,000 disenfranchised voters right there. And I'm curious to see at the end of this election how many people voted for president that did not vote for the U.S. Senate. And I want to know how many disenfranchised voters there were. I wish there was a way to tell how many people did not vote for Ricky but voted against Tom Cotton, just so we can see a more a broader idea of how many people were forced to vote one way that they did not want to vote. But we will wait. Florida's vote count percentage right now is 93% for Florida. And with 93%, it's 51-48. So now it's about a 3% difference for Donald Trump in the lead.
Do you believe that's tighter than you expected?
Well, no, because we got a problem in the suburbs, and the problem that
hey sis, thanks for hopping on and joining me.
States in North Carolina, Virginia, it's present in Texas. And look,
yeah, it's crazy, Isabella. They literally threw out Independence County, and they're like, "Oh, here we go. Here's 8,000 votes. Donald Trump wins. Tom Cotton wins." It's crazy.
West Virginia is now reliably Republican. Used to be reliably Democrat.
So we are at about 31% reporting on the Associated Press. So while we're waiting on that, let's go over some of these numbers for the presidential election in different states. Oh, wow. So it looks like New York Times actually has 36% reporting already.
even after tens of millions
So let me
of
pull up New
dollars
York
spent by
Times,
the state.
Arkansas Senate.
There's a guy I've never heard of in Silicon Valley who spent $11 million in state house races, which means if you got 25 races that everybody was sort of looking at, $500 to $1 million in each of those.
Okay, so New York Times is reporting 34% now, with 61.5% to Tom Cotton and 38.5% to Ricky Harrington. 435,000 total votes.
That has to be done next year in our legislature is extraordinary, and you can understand why. I mean, we're a growing, dynamic state that next year will gain 2 or 3 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. And so the Democrats went all out, and it looks like we're going to keep control of the House.
See, Brett, I told you, you know.
Arkansas presidential race.
I mean, come on.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
So 460,000 votes for presidential. So now we're looking at a difference of 25,000 people who did not vote in the U.S. Senate race.
Joe Biden, for all of the time that he put in there, and they had Kamala Harris down there, Joe Biden.
Wow, Joe Jorgensen pulled in 1% here in Arkansas.
That he's expanding that lead.
North Carolina?
Yeah.
I think this is getting tighter and tighter the more we talk, guys, frankly.
Okay, it looks like they just updated a little bit more, 35%, and gave Tom Cotton 2,000 more votes.
Remember, blue skews early, right? Then red comes in later. I think this is going to be razor
I'm going
tight
to
right now as we examine the remaining 20% of the ballots that are still out.
Switch it
That's North Carolina. Just pop down here to Georgia. Remind
back
our
from
viewers
Fox
this is real-time data
News
now. So you're
over to CNN again.
Stories in America right now, American politics as they shift, move over back to Fulton, you come to the suburbs to the east. Gwinnett, 15%. Again, a long way to go. So you see this, a lot of this is early vote.
So let's see, 119.92. It looks
back,
like, yeah, right now I'm looking at
You're
119.93.
overperforming,
Josh.
putting there. But we're very preliminary when it comes to Georgia, so we want to wait and see how that plays out. I just want to pull out the map again just to see what else has changed. Texas has gone red. Remember earlier we had Texas blue for a while. Starting to fill in some counties here. 66%, 1,300 votes in a state like Texas. So it's very competitive. A lot of these states are more competitive this time. And again, that's part of the story. This was not a close state.
And we are still, we haven't really had many votes from Northwest Arkansas come in for Arkansas races, presidential and U.S. Senate. So,
we have a ways to go.
Again, once those Northwest Arkansas votes come in, that's going to be huge for our District 3 House race that we're watching right now, because they've still only reported 4%, and we want to see how Celeste is doing against Womack. So we're still waiting for that. And that's going to also change the U.S. Senate race a lot as well, because there are a lot more Democratic voters in Northwest Arkansas. Let's see. Isabella, Pope County didn't give you an option. You had to vote in all races, or it wouldn't count your vote. Wow, that's insane. I didn't vote in all races because I did not vote for any uncontested Republicans that were running, because there weren't any uncontested Democrats. But I don't vote for uncontested candidates. So that's very interesting. I wonder if they did not count my ballot, but I would assume that they did. Again, that's why I would like to have the availability to go online after you vote, enter in your information, maybe your name, your phone number, your address, or your social, whatever you want, to see how your vote was cast, to make sure that your vote was cast in the way that you wanted it cast.
Some states only election votes, some counties only election day votes, then early votes. We'll figure it all out. These ones are going to take a while. But again, North Carolina blue, Ohio blue, this time of the night, that makes it interesting.
Michigan and Wisconsin pretty early right now.
Yes.
We see the red,
Yes.
but what, 17% of the vote is in Michigan. Trump is ahead by 200,000 votes.
17% of the vote is in, and you have the President of the United States leading Wayne County right now. But that's not going to happen. We don't know what
3% of the vote.
Right. We don't know what the margin's going to be in the end, but the President of the United States is not going to win Wayne County. No offense to the President of the United States, but that's just not going to happen. So that's how you just know this is one of those nights where, because of the different ways people voted, in person early, election day.
No, Chris, I really would have won this election.
We'll look early on.
It's a shame. It truly is. but all we can do is move forward. I documented everything that happened, all of the corruption, the obstacles, everything, and we will make sure that everyone knows what happened here in Arkansas in 2020 to help one of the most hated men in America win an election.
You have good people doing this in every state across the country. So when anyone says we're done, listen to your Secretary of State, listen to your county election officials.
I'm not really sure, Isabella, because it did give me the option not to choose anything for those on my particular ballot, and I know each county has their own rules as well, so it's just hard to say.
People at the Trump campaign nervous tonight. I know you've spoken to him frequently.
All right, let me update these pages here. It looks like we haven't had an update in 6 minutes from New York Times. And now, that's 35. Okay, now Associated Press is at 40% reporting for the Arkansas Senate races. So Associated Press is now reporting Tom Cotton is ahead 63.1% to Ricky Harrington, 36.9. And I believe right above my picture on your screen, that is going to be the Associated Press's graph that y'all are seeing right there.
It's interesting to watch. North Carolina's interesting. Maybe Virginia's interesting as well. That's why we count them.
Yeah, I can't believe that they would declare a winner with only 20 or 32% of the votes counted. And they had actually originally first declared Tom Cotton the winner, I think when there were only like 20% or 18% of the votes counted.
Reds down here, North Carolina blue, Ohio blue at this hour. Makes you nervous, Wolf.
All right, there's much more ahead as more polling places close at the top of the hour. Two more important battleground states are on the line, Iowa and Nevada. Election night in America continues in 2 minutes.
One day, we'll look back and remember the moment that things, for one strange time in our lives, got very quiet. We worried over loved ones, over money, over our planet, and over takeout. Let's remember this time when so many struggled to feel secure and build a future where everyone can.
Arkansas GOP just tweeted, "Congratulations, Rep. Rick Crawford, on your re-election." It's like, bro, he was uncontested. What do you mean, congratulations on a re-election?
Every day is another chance to make it happen.
Wow, look at ARGOP. Congratulations, Womack, for Congress on your re-election. And that's only less, is it 4%? Oh, wow. They actually just popped up District 3 to 23%. Let's see. What else did the Arkansas GOP tweet? Let's see. Joyce Elliott wants to raise your taxes but doesn't seem to like paying her own. Oh, no. What happened, Joyce? I didn't read this article on Arkansas Online. Paid delinquent New York taxes last month after resisting payment for more than a decade. An interview, blah, 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 decided to settle the matter. A tax warrant of $9,000 dating to September 11 and $387, blah, blah, blah. New York taxes were levied because of her employment from 2003 to 2010 at the College Board, Manhattan-based nonprofit group. Okay. I mean, she did pay the taxes. It looks like she paid $5,500. She settled. But heck, how much money has Rick Crawford avoided in taxation? Or how much money has he stolen from his donors and contributors? Bruce Westerman, congratulations. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. Dude, the Arkansas GOP is the worst. I can't stand these guys. It's insane. Thanks, Koch brothers. Koch brothers gave the Arkansas GOP all of their power here in Arkansas. Both of these are on commercial. That's why I didn't switch the audio over. But it's just crazy because when the Koch brothers injected nearly $10 million into the Arkansas elections, it changed the political flow here in Arkansas for the worst. So let me go ahead and go over these other election results because it looks like it's not true.
No, they're already in the news.
I know they are, but they've only recorded 42% of the votes so far. So they may have called the race in one way or another, but there's only 42% of the votes recorded. So, looks like my CNN stopped for whatever reason. So I'm going to switch from CNN back over to Fox News for now. So let me switch this over. It looks like Fox News is on a commercial anyways, but... Oh, wait, here they go. They just ended their commercial.
Majority of the House, even picking up a few seats tonight, as we just told you. We're also watching the Senate very closely.
Okay, so it's back on the Fox News audio. So we are looking at 43% reporting here in Arkansas.
Mark Meredith is on the ground.
And
Republican Senator Tom Tillis's headquarters.
with 48% or 43% reporting, presidential, looks like Donald Trump's at 59.7%. Wait, let me see what... How much are they reporting? Only 35% on New York Times. Okay, so Donald Trump's in the lead, 59.7 to Joe Biden, 37.8. And then if we look at the U.S. Senate race with 42% reporting, we have Tom Cotton with 63.7% of the vote, 345,000 votes, and Ricky Harrington at 36.3%, 196,000 votes. So it's still 63-36 for the U.S. Senate. But one of the big changes that we just happened is we had a lot of counties up here in northwest Arkansas just reported finally. So 43% reporting in District 2, French Hill, 57.2, Joyce Elliott, 47.1. So that race is still within about 12,000 votes with only 43% reporting. And District number 3, which is going to be up here in northwest Arkansas, we have 23% reporting, and it's looking like 65.7 for Steve Womack and 30.6 for Celeste Williams. And that's a difference of about 40,000 votes. So it's actually not looking very good, 40,000 vote difference with 23% reporting. But we'll see how it goes because, hey, you never know. And ballot measures. Let's check these out. Ballot measures are still only 23% reported for ballot measures, so they haven't changed. Issue 1, 54% for. Issue 2, 54% for. And issue 3, 56% against. So that hasn't really changed much. It looks like New York Times just went up to 36% reported, so that's still a little bit behind Associated Press.
Just pointing out, we've already called the House for control to the Democrats.
Okay. Let me see if there's any change in the Presidential Electoral College. So it looks like Joe Biden's still in the lead, 122 to Trump's 93. But I think we should have some states that are getting ready to close. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on with CNN. I might have to restart. All right, I'm going to switch it back over to CNN and take it off of Fox News for a little bit.
The incumbent Republican Tom Tillis at 47.3%, and in South Carolina, this is one that people across the country have been watching. Right now, the incumbent Republican Lindsey Graham is ahead pretty significantly. Now, let's look at what this all means in the big picture right now.
Let me check some of these
in
out.
3 Republican seats. Democrats must pick up 4 Republican seats to flip the balance of power. And what is the balance of power right now? 39 Democrats.
The place where I voted was having voting machine issues, where I had to put my card in 3 different machines before I was able to vote. That didn't happen to me at all, Ben, actually.
Joe Biden will win the state of Colorado, will win its 9 electoral votes. He beats Trump in Colorado.
I was able just to go in, get my card. I think I gave them my ID. They scanned my ID. They printed something on my card. I went to a ballot machine. It just went right in and voted right away, no problems. My mom is all convinced that Kamala's communist Marxist ideas are going to ruin this country. Wow, Kamala is like barely more left than a conservative Republican, so that's funny. When I told her those were separate ideas, she got mad.
Starting at the building blocks, right? And again, lot of unpredictability in counting.
Awesome. Thank you for voting, Maui. I don't care how you voted. It's just the most important thing we can do as American citizens to vote. We are all entitled to our vote, and however way we wish to cast it, you just got to make sure you vote.
Joe Biden lead. This is why you look at the big states. The big states are what get you the lead. Joe Biden has New York.
I know, Isabella. We really do not want the Cox. We don't want any billionaires funding any states. Honestly, what we need are publicly funded elections. That way our representatives are, they work for us. They're responsible to us and not to special interest donors.
Looking at this map right now, there are no surprises so far on this map. Again, if you come over here, I just want to pull out one
Change their voting age to 17. I just don't know how I feel about that, honestly, because I don't know. By 17, usually I don't think we did our civics and governments class until the last semester of our senior year. So there could be a lot of 17-year-olds who don't even know a lot about government, unfortunately. There'd be a lot of ignorant voters. But I'm not against teaching government to younger children. Let's see. Still got 36% on New York Times, 43% reported for Arkansas. On Associated Press, 45% on Arkansas now. So Arkansas is starting to go a little bit more. It's 8:32 p.m. Polls been closed, I think, just a little bit. But if you are still in line to vote and you're watching this live stream, don't leave the line. You still need to go cast your vote. If you were in line, I believe it was before 7:30, then you are still entitled to vote.
2016, you could get, if you're Joe Biden, to 270 by flipping Arizona as we move west later in the night. This is the dynamic of the night. Joe Biden has more options. The menu to him gives him more options, especially if Ohio is competitive and North Carolina is competitive, and he's leading in those states right now. That is the challenge. President Trump has a much more narrow path to re-election as he tries to defend this map. And the Ohio and North Carolina early results, we're not there yet. They're all the more significant because we do know heading into the final days. And again, 2016, the president was behind. He roared back. Election day turnout overwhelmed. Hillary Clinton's leading the polls.
I'm going to turn this up for just a minute. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I got off work and I drove my wife to her work to do some stuff, and then I got back here and started this. So I'm going to take like a 5-minute break, refill my vodka because my vodka's getting low. I like vodka a lot.
Right now. You're looking at Florida. You're happy. We're not done yet.
And when you're looking at elections where you're forced not to vote for someone you like, but someone because you don't like the other guy, vodka's a good medicine for that. At least a legal one that won't cost you your job. A lot of Kanye West votes. I know, I'm looking at that actually. Boom, 1,643 votes for Kanye West. Howie Hawkins, 1,211. I love Howie Hawkins, by the way. Man, he's a good man. He believes in Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, the federal decriminalization of cannabis. He's an all-around good person. I wish he could have got more votes than 1,200. But again, we are still only at 47% reporting. Let's see. No big change in the U.S. Senate. U.S. House, it looks like we have 31% reporting now in District 3. So 67.1% to Steve Womack, 29% to Celeste Williams. And that's not really changing a whole lot. But it looks like Tom Cotton is slowly going up in percentage. All right, so I will be back in just 1 minute. Let me give you all some.
It is a 50-50 battleground. North Carolina may be the most competitive state in American politics. Maybe Florida is a close second. But when you look at the demographics of North Carolina, it is perhaps the most competitive state in American politics right now. Cumberland County, 57%, 90%. So you get to this point, 90% of the estimated vote. If you're a Democrat, you're thinking, how much more can I get out of this? If you're a Republican, you're thinking, can I just narrow the margins a little bit? 57.5, let's go back in time, 56.7, right? So you don't think that's a lot, right? 71,000 votes then, 16-point race. You come back here, 17-point race. Look at the turnout everywhere in America. And this is a good thing, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or Independent. Look at that number right there. All right? In every county we're looking at, almost every county we're looking at, a higher vote total winning this time. That's a good thing. No matter who wins the election tonight, that's a good thing. More Americans came out and participated in the election. So we'll come there. Let's look at Wake County. That's Hillary Clinton then. That's Joe Biden now, from 58 to 65. That's a big deal. 355,000 votes, 302,000 votes, 53,000 more votes in the Democratic column there. Let's look at the president's numbers from 2016. 196, you come forward, 179. So higher turnout in this county. The president's not. He's got a ways to go, 80% there. We'll see if he can narrow the gap. And again, you're looking at these blue areas. You see the dots in the middle. These are your urban areas. This is all around America. Democrats run it up in the urban areas. The question then is, how do the Republicans do in the suburbs? He's getting shellacked. The president's getting shellacked there, as he did 4 years ago. He's getting beat here. Wolf, just one more. I just want to look quickly. Mecklenburg County, Charlotte in the suburbs. This is the most populous county in the state. 68 to 31 when you round up. 63 to 33. Again, doesn't seem like a lot. In a place that has the most votes in the state, that matters.
Yeah, 87% of the vote in that county out there. Let's check in with David Chalian, who's taking a very close look at North Carolina as well.
I am indeed. Well, first I just want to show you this board here. These are the states that Joe Biden is leading in that Donald Trump won 4 years ago. So in North Carolina, as you were just discussing with John, he's got a 1.77 percentage point lead over Donald Trump. In Ohio, he's just under a 2 percentage point lead over Donald Trump. And in Wisconsin, he's got just over a 2 percentage point lead over Donald Trump. 3 states that Donald Trump won 4 years ago. Let's look at North Carolina and look at what's going on there. What you see the state of play right now, you see that Joe Biden has 2.385 million votes compared to Donald Trump's 2.301. He's ahead with 80% of the estimated vote in. But here's what we have to look out for. All those big Democratic counties John was just talking about, it is mostly early vote. So look, of this 80% of the vote that's in, 90% of it right now in North Carolina statewide is early vote. We think that's going to come down. We think that at the end of the night, 75% of the total North Carolina vote will be early vote. So right now, the early vote is helping Joe Biden. But as more election day vote comes in North Carolina, Donald Trump may be able to benefit from that. So we just got to keep watching as those votes come in North Carolina.
All right, David, thank you very much. North Carolina, it's really important right now. Look at 80% of the vote is in. Biden's lead has gone down from 150,000 to now 84,000.
And David was just outlining the challenge for Joe Biden in North Carolina, in Ohio, in any of the battleground states, which is that the Democrats were happy with their early voting. In many of the states, if you looked at the data, disproportionately for the Democrats. So they got a couple laps in, if you will, on the Republicans. That's great. It's great to be leading the race, but you have to finish the race. And you finished the race today on Election Day. And that was the challenge for the Democrats. And that was the concern as they saw the president going around. How many rallies did he have in Pennsylvania? How many rallies did he have in North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan? The president retracing his 2016 map, trying to get voters out of the woodwork to vote today. And so as David makes the point here, you know, you've gone from 120-something to 111, now to 84,000 votes ahead. You want to be in the lead. You'd rather be in the lead always, of course, but now we're going to keep counting these election day votes. And so in some of these places, you know, you're in more rural counties. I keep coming back out to here, 95% in. If you're Joe Biden, you're happy because this is one of these Trump super counties. This is where you had a rally the other day. You hope that there's not many more votes to come here because you just see the margin, right? 30,000, just shy of 30,000 votes, the margin here. You come back 4 years ago, same idea. The president ran it up there by about 27,000. And you loosely run it up. This is one of the places, I call it Trump super counties, where they go there for a reason, because they know they have voters that they can turn out on Election Day, and that was the challenge. So now we're going to see. The Democrats don't have to beat Donald Trump today in the Election Day vote. They don't have to beat him, but they have to be competitive. They can't if they get shellacked today, you lose what you gained with the early vote. And so we're going to keep watching as this comes in. And we have some places where we still have no votes, right? So you're watching those as well. It's just we're waiting for people to report. This was a big Trump county. Not a ton of votes, but if you're down, right now you're down 84,000 votes. 4 years ago in this county, look at the difference. There's 24,000 votes more than that, 26,000 votes. So you can get them. In the places we're missing, when you come back in here, some of the places we're missing are places where the president did quite well in 2016. So that's the concern if you're in the Biden campaign headquarters. You like how this looks, but you know there's more to come. And so what every campaign does right now, they know what's missing. They know which counties, they know which precincts within those precincts, they know what their data tells them about who lives there and how they're doing.
Let's go to Ohio.
Durham County, they're 86%. Again, just one quick point before we do it, before we leave. This is a place where they ran it up 4 years ago, so that's not quite as significant. I want to move over here. This is the thing. We'll come back here to Raleigh, to Wake County and the suburbs. Does the math change and does the margin change as that election day vote comes in? So we'll use that as a marker. Now you want to go back to Ohio, and you come back here, 64%. It's been sort of we got some good votes early on, but it's been a slog since, and look how close that is. 13,461 votes. They call them battleground states for a reason. 49.5 to 49.2 with 64% in. And again, you have the same dynamics at play, especially in some of these smaller rural places. It doesn't look like a lot. You don't think this is a lot, right? Because it's 8,000 votes in a giant state like Ohio. But you're halfway in. You're getting 8,700 to the other guy's 2,900. That matters, right? That margin matters when you do it here, and then you do it here, and then you do it here, and then you do it here. That's how it adds up. And so, again, you'd rather be leading than trailing, but you're watching those leads shrink as election day vote comes in, and you're trying to figure out, is it enough to hold, or do we have trouble?
Let's go back to David Chalian. David, take a look at Ohio right now. How much of the vote is very close? Only a 13,000 vote lead for Biden in Ohio right now. How much is the early vote as opposed to the today vote?
Yeah, you're noting Joe Biden's very, very close lead over Donald Trump. That's with 64% of the vote in. But let me show you that right now, of that vote that's in, 41% of it is early vote. That's helping Joe Biden. But unlike North Carolina, we expect the early vote share to grow here in Ohio. At the end of the night, we estimated it should be about 53% of the overall vote. So there's the potential as more.
Let me see if there's been a change in the last minute or so. Looks like we're at 47% reporting now in Arkansas. Let me see what. And now New York Times is way behind. All right, so let me refresh this just in case. 49% reporting in Arkansas. So with 49% presidential race, we're looking at Donald Trump 61.2% over Joe Biden 36.3%. U.S. Senate 47%, 65% Tom Cotton, 35% Ricky Harrington. Again, that's only 47%, so we're only halfway there. And now for the U.S. House race, it looks like with 44% reporting, less than half of the votes, it's still within a 5% race for the District 2 French Hill and Joyce Elliott race, with 52.5% to 47.5%. Only 31% reporting for District 3. And with that 31% reporting, we got Steve Womack 67.1%, with Celeste 29.3%, a pretty solid lead. And wow, somehow the Libertarian got 3.6%. No idea how he did that. I guess the most Libertarians in Arkansas live in Northwest Arkansas. District 4, 21% reporting still, 71.4 for Westerman, 25.8 for William Hanson. It is going to be a long night, Isabella. That's why I reloaded. I'm good to go. It's also going to be a long morning, that's for sure.
Very positive about Arizona and the blue wall, but it's just not going to be as some Democrats were hoping for. That they thought it was going to be an early landslide, which was really always a pipe dream.
Yeah, I mean, there is no landslide that we're looking at. No way, given the numbers that we've seen, particularly when you start the night in Florida, when it's as tight as Florida tends to be. And it's maybe even less so right now as they continue to count the votes. What is interesting is Florida, one of the reasons why the Biden campaign thinks that they're doing not as well as they'd hoped is because they're really underperforming with Latino voters.
Right.
They're hoping to change that dynamic in a big way when Arizona starts to count the votes, that they're hoping that that is what helps to buoy them in Arizona.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier. The Latino voters in Florida, a great deal of them are Cuban American and Venezuelan American in southern Florida, very different from the Mexican American, Central American voters, Latino voters in Nevada and Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing the same thing from Democrats who are saying, wait and see, because in Arizona, we might see a completely different story. Even in a state like North Carolina, we might see a different story where a smaller population of Latino voters could be very important for Biden if he is able to turn them out. But that being said, what is happening in Florida, I can tell you, Democrats are not happy about it. At the end of the day, the situation in Miami-Dade is something that in the autopsy of this election, they will be looking back at and trying to figure out what went wrong.
And I'll tell you what they think went wrong is that the Trump attacks have worked.
Yeah.
Calling the Democrats socialists work with people in that area in particular and that
And a lot of
the population.
No, that's not it at all. Poll after poll, survey after survey shows that it's not a going to the left problem. The problem is that Obama built the cages that immigrant children are being put in, and Biden didn't do anything about it. It has nothing to do with moving left. I saw a poll on Fox News today stating that 70% of Republicans on Fox News support Medicare for all. I know.
Joe Biden flip it back.
I'm almost
So
done
let's go
eating.
back to 2020. Remember the blue down here? That's from 2016. You don't have it down here right now. And again, so you look at Wayne County, that is Detroit and the suburbs around Detroit. Donald Trump leading right now. It's 3% of the vote. So this is a tiny amount of the vote here. You come up to Macomb County, 35% of the vote. If that holds, that's a big deal. But again, it's 35% of the vote. Macomb County 2020, legendary home of the Reagan Democrats. If you go back to the 80s, who were the blue-collar workers, disaffected from the Democrats, supported Ronald Reagan. This is where the studies, Stan Greenberg, the Democratic pollster, did a lot of studies there. If you look at 2016, Hillary Clinton lost Macomb County by 10 points and change, 11 points there. And so this number here, if that holds up, that's a huge deal. That's Michigan, but this is very, very early. I just want to pull out again because I know people watching at home, we've told you there's going to be a lot of anomalies in the map tonight. There might also be surprises. That's why we continue to count them. This is one here, 56-41 in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You might expect Trump to pull ahead there at some point. That's a huge lead, about 45%. I just noticed earlier tonight, I just want to check one more time. Fairfax County, the largest county in the state, fast growing, hugely Democratic based, 27%. So there are votes to come in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but again, on a night where we expect maybe the unexpected in some places, we'll keep an eye on that.
Let's check in with David Chalian. Give us some
Looks
context
like-
of these two states, what we're talking about. We're talking about Michigan and Virginia.
Still early in Michigan, obviously, but that Donald Trump lead, 657,000
So we're up to
votes Joe
51%
Biden's
reporting here in
436,000.
Arkansas now.
That is with 20% of the estimated vote in Michigan in. So we want to know, well, how much of this is early vote right now? And take a look here. Only 11% of the vote that's in Michigan is early vote right now. We know that Joe Biden voters are the ones that tended to vote early. We expect that to go up to 55%. We think a slim majority of voters in Michigan will have voted before Election Day by mail, early voting. That could benefit Biden since he's doing better in the early vote in Michigan. He could overtake Donald Trump. Look at Virginia. John was just talking about some of those Democratic areas that are out in Virginia. Here's the current state of play. Donald Trump has a healthy lead there in Virginia with 45% of the vote in. What is the story of the early vote? Currently, of that vote that's in, 28% of it is early vote. And we know Joe Biden's doing better with early vote. We expect that to go up to 66%. So a huge swath of the early vote that is going to be a pro-Biden vote could help Joe Biden overtake Donald Trump's lead in Virginia. Specifically, we see almost no early vote in some of the really heavy Democratic counties of Fairfax and Alexandria.
All right, thanks very much. We've got two more projections right now. I take a look at the CNN now projects that Donald Trump will win the state of South Carolina. He's the winner in South Carolina, will win its 9 electoral votes. CNN also projects Donald Trump will win in Alabama, will win its 9 electoral votes in the state of Alabama as well. Here's where the Electoral College map stands right now. It's close. Biden now has 89 Electoral College votes. Trump has 72 Electoral College votes, 270, of course, needed to win the presidency. We're getting deeper into the night and another round of results. We're counting down to the top of the hour, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's when polls will close in Iowa, Montana, Nevada, and Utah. Together, those states have 21 electoral votes. Every vote is vital
All right.
to get to the winning total of 270. Iowa and Nevada are the battlegrounds to watch in the next hour.
Sorry about that. Like I said, I got off of work today, and then I took my wife to work so she could do some stuff with her laptop, and then I came here and did this, so I didn't have time to eat dinner. So, awesome. Thank you, honey. All right, so let's get back to this. We do have some changes here in Arkansas with our local stuff here. It looks like we have 55% reporting for the presidential race right now. So Donald Trump is at 61.8% and Joe Biden is 35.7%. Joe Jorgensen managed 1% and pulled in 7,000 votes. For the U.S. Senate, we are at 54% reporting. Oh, wow. Okay. So it looks like Tom Cotton increased his lead just a little bit. So Tom Cotton with 54% reporting is at 65.7% to Ricky Harrington, the Libertarian candidate's 34.3%. Huh? No, Tom Cotton's probably going to win at this point. Okay, we have kind of a big change again in District 3. We added a few more percent in there. So for District 2, with the French Hill Joyce Elliott race, we have French Hill at 52.7% and Joyce Elliott at 47.3%. So now it's bigger than a 5% difference, and we're looking at about a 13 to 14,000 vote difference. So French Hill is pulling ahead in that race, but again, only 44% counted. For District 3, we have 35% reporting, and Steve Womack has a large lead at 68.1% to Celeste Williams' 28.4%. We're looking at about a 60,000 vote lead out of 140,000 votes.
Well, you're getting the building blocks, right? The building blocks are the solids, the states that you depend on. The Democrats depend on certain states, the Republicans depend on certain states. And the way this map is filling in right now, nothing here is a surprise. So both campaigns doing the building blocks to try to get you in a contention. You get to 270, you got to pass 100 first. We're getting close. 89 for Joe Biden, 72 for the President of the United States. And again, everything we see filled in, all these reds, we had them solid Trump coming in. All these blues, we had them Biden coming in. So we don't have any surprises right now as we look at the map. The question is, where are we going? And I'm going to ask you, Brian, again, just to swing around.
Florida's still only 93%, and Florida's going to be a really big state. So I'm waiting to see exactly what Florida says.
State that was taken away, but again, we're waiting for Democratic votes there. We're very early on. The map is going to be different tonight as we go through these different scenarios of mail-in votes, in-person early, election day, different states counting them in different order. So it's going to be different as we go through. But you just mentioned Joe Biden opening a lead in Minnesota and opening a lead in New Hampshire. Come back over here.
Let's see if these ballot measures have changed at all. Only 33% reporting still for ballot measures.
It understands. We'll go back to his map.
But at this point, it looks like issue 1 and 2 is going to pass, and issue 3 will fail.
4 years ago, the Trump campaign fully understands that Joe Biden is more competitive here than Hillary Clinton, led in the polls. Joe Biden is more competitive here than Hillary Clinton, led in the polls. So even if you just take Wisconsin, right? Even if you just took Wisconsin away from the president here, if you take away this, right? So you're down. You're going away, and you take away this, right? So you're down some more here. Then you're worried about if that goes away, then you're underneath. So the Trump campaign, knowing that Joe Biden was more competitive,
let's see, polls are closing in Iowa in a few minutes.
States they just lost, right? They just lost. Minnesota was very close. Republicans make a run at it. I remember George W. Bush making a run at it. Republicans always make a run. They don't quite get there.
So key states, 93% Florida. Trump is +3. North Carolina, 84% reported. Biden is less than 1%, 0.6. So
you have to add.
North Carolina is going to be a close one. Wow, Texas. Texas is so close. I mean, Texas is historically Republican, but right now it is a close battle. Donald Trump is in the lead, 50.3%, and Joe Biden is trailing behind with 48.3%. Now, we have 76% of the votes in Texas, and, I mean, it's less than 200,000 vote difference, so Texas could go either way at this point. Ohio's almost done, only 64% reported. Wow, Georgia. Trump has a solid majority. He's up 15 points in Georgia. Biden's up 34 points in Minnesota.
Right now, the popular vote, not that it's all that important, but it's still significant. Trump has a significant lead right now, but we're really focused on the electoral college.
We are, but it is interesting to watch it play out. Again, we're early in this chapter, and so whether the states look a little funny or different, whether some of those states are in play to change, and as you watch that play out, let's remember, we're early, right? We're still here. We're counting votes as we go. Some people are still voting out in the West.
Oh my God, Marjorie Green won in Georgia. She is the worst. She's as bad as Tom Cotton is. Oh my gosh. Yes. Wow. I think there was even a video going around Twitter when she was all methed out at a concert talking about like Trump this, Trump that, all like high on drugs. How crazy is that?
And so we'll watch that popular vote play out. But more importantly,
Hickenlooper won.
Again, as you noted, we were just talking about this a minute ago. We're early here, but Joe Biden pulling out to an early lead in Minnesota. Lead early on. We'll see if it changes. This one here.
All right. So let's see here.
This is why we do this, Wolf. This is why it's exciting and fun. 13,000 votes now in Ohio. 64% for some time. So we're waiting.
Milwaukee results not until 6
We should all
a.m.
appreciate the challenge of these election officials all across the country. Democrats, Republicans, small county, big cities. It's a huge challenge. Turnout is up. You have the mix of voting, mail-in voting.
Cotton hasn't won yet, Brittany, but it's likely he is going to win.
The president must win. Joe Biden does not need.
And yeah, I think you're right, Janie. Unfortunately, the Libertarians had an opportunity to win this state this year. They knew back on November 11th when the Democrat dropped out that at that time the only person with official ballot access was their only Libertarian candidate against Tom Cotton. As an independent, I still had to get my own signatures for ballot access, which you all know COVID-19 affected that process, and then we entered into a legal battle, which is actually still ongoing to this day. We still have our court hearing for ballot access that has been pushed back until after this election. Well, as soon as the Libertarian Party, the National Libertarian Party, knew this was happening, they should have been like, you know what? You need to start campaigning. Here's some money. Do what you need to do. Get out there. Unfortunately, the Libertarian candidate decided to wait until July, just a few months ago, to begin campaigning, to start reaching out, building a team, and starting a campaign. And there's just no way you can run a 3-month campaign on a statewide race and win. I mean, personally, I would say he's got 36.5% vote right now. I'd say probably 30% of that is not people voting for him, but voting against Tom Cotton. But man, that's the vodka speaking, so I'm going to stop.
4 years ago, so you're looking to see what's missing in these counties. In the main place, just
all right,
come check in here, up to 90%.
Let's see what's going on.
The question is, again, what's missing? Is it they're counting early votes? Then you think Joe Biden will get more than his fair share of those. If it's all election day votes,
so we are at 55% reporting for the U.S. Senate race. Not a big change. It looks like actually we had more people report from Democratic areas. And it looks like Tom Cotton is down to 66.1%, and Ricky Harrington is up to 33.9%.
83%. You think you're going to build, right? Because you've been running it up all night. You have more votes to come in. The challenge this year is
no real big change on the House races yet.
Election day vote, they're different, right? We know Republicans were more likely to come out today. Democrats were more likely to vote early. So the normal rules don't always apply. You have to find out.
I'm still really surprised the ballot measures are only at 35% when everything else is over 50%.
If anything's changed while we've been here, I just want to check on the size of the president's lead here. 179,000 votes in Texas and some change. So we're going to wait in Texas as well. Just want to see how we're doing down here in Harris County.
The Electoral College hasn't changed at all yet. We're still kind of waiting. I think Ohio is supposed to end here soon. It's going to be a long night.
We'll just pull out and look at the map. We're starting to fill it in. 50% to 48% in the popular vote. That's not how we pick a president, though, Wolf, and we'll keep counting.
We certainly will, and we're only moments away, John, from another round of poll closings. Voting is about to end in 4 states, including the key battlegrounds of Iowa and Nevada. A total of 21 electoral votes are on the line right now.
All right, we're going to see some big ones.
We believe it's too early to call in Iowa, for example, 6 electoral votes right there. Too early to call in Nevada. right there, 6 electoral votes. Too early to call in Utah right now as well. Another 6 electoral votes there. It's too early to call in the state of Montana. 3 electoral votes right
All right.
now. Let's take a look at the
So it looks like Utah, the polls just closed.
Right now,
Nevada, the polls closed.
In the race for 270 needed to win the presidency. Biden is still
Idaho,
89
Montana,
electoral college votes. Trump has 72 electoral college
Arizona.
votes. So let's get a key race alert right now.
Okay, so a bunch of polls just closed,
in these key
and then
battleground states.
Iowa
Let's
as
start
well.
In Ohio right now, 69% of the estimated vote is in Ohio. Trump is ahead by 102,000 votes over Biden, 50.5% to 48.1%. In North Carolina, 84%.
We're still only at 55% reporting for Arkansas for the U.S. Senate race, and we are still only at between 37 to 45% reporting for the Arkansas House races.
4.2% to 33.8%. In New Hampshire, more than a quarter of the vote is in, 26% of the vote is in. Biden has a nearly 20,000 vote lead over Trump, 53.6% to 45.1%.
Wow, that's really close. In North Carolina.
Right now, let's check out Florida. Right now, Trump is pretty
Wow, North Carolina is 84% reported, and Biden is in the lead 49.7 to Donald Trump 49.1. It's, I mean, it's about a 30,000 vote difference with 84% in.
51% to 47.7% in Pennsylvania. In Michigan right now, a quarter of the vote almost is in. Trump is ahead by 228,000 votes, but it's early. 23% of the estimated vote is in, 57%. In Texas, 77% of the vote is in. Trump has a 215,000 vote lead over Biden, 50.5% to 48.1%. In Wisconsin, more than a quarter of the vote is in. Trump has a narrow 28,000 vote lead over Biden. Right now, it's still early, 50.6% there. In Georgia, 51% of the vote is in. Trump has a pretty comfortable lead right now, 346,000
What is
lead
it? I can't
over
tell.
Biden, 16 electoral votes in Georgia. In Virginia, more than half of the vote is
Hand
in,
sanitizer
53%.
dispenser?
Trump's lead is
Where are you going to put it, outside the front door?
votes over Biden, 53% to 45.3%. Let's walk.
Yes.
Over to John King at the Magic Wall. John, you know, what are you looking at right now? What's jumping out at you?
Right now, I was just looking, every now and then, I just like to look at president by county. I just like, we look by states all the time. I just like to look by county. You'll see a lot more red counties in America. You always do. That's the way it works. But because of the smaller counties, but the Democrats win in the red counties. We're just taking a look at that. It's a personal curiosity as we go through the nights. And now we come back to this right here, 50.7 to 47.9 in the national vote. But that's not how we pick presidents. We look at 2020 right here. Look what has just happened in the last few minutes. Ohio is red. The president ahead right now. If you look at the vote there, 70% there, 128,000 lead. A big shift. Big shift there as more votes come in the state of Ohio, 50.8 to 47.9. This is why we've been telling you throughout the night. It requires a little bit of patience on our part and on your part as well. They're counting votes in different ways, and so we're going to see some swings. And sometimes they're going to happen quickly when new votes come in. The President of the United States now leading in a state he must win, battleground Ohio, 50.8 to 47.9. 70%, still a ways to go. And as David Chalian noted earlier, we're waiting for some early vote here. We're waiting for states to count their votes. Some are doing it in a different order. Early voting, mail-in voting, and today voting. We'll see how it plays out. Just want to check to see if the margins are changing at all as we play through this.
See, that's the problem. I don't understand why they should have at like 7 o'clock this morning in each state had the early voting loaded and ready to go for people to see.
You're looking at Pennsylvania right now. If you're looking at this map right now, let me just pull
They should have had absentee votes already counted.
Home right now, you're looking at this map and you say, "Oh my, it's happening again." Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. If you're a Republican, you're saying that's what we needed. Here's the thing: slow down. We have a long way to go.
No, they should have all that stuff ready at the beginning of the day. That way, the only thing we're waiting on are the votes from today.
Some of the mail-in votes won't even be counted until tomorrow. It's worth looking at. These are all real.
I know, for real, Isabella, and it's amazing that's even an option. It's something that could happen. Texas going blue. How crazy would that be? Looks like Texas is 77% with 50.5% to Donald Trump and 48.1% to Joe Biden.
Tiny vote count. There's a long way to go in these states. That's what makes them interesting. They're going to flip
Florida's still only 93%.
Wisconsin and look, and again, the president has a narrow lead here. 51 if you want to round that up to 48 if you round that up, but again, 30% of the vote, a long way to go. So when you pull it out like this, people look at it at home and you think, wow, we're not done. We have a long way to go in a lot of places, including Virginia is red right now.
Looks like Associated Press is kind of updating a little bit, like 1 and 2% at a time. So for U.S. Senate, they're at 57% reporting now. I want to see Kentucky. Kentucky, oh my gosh, Mitch McConnell destroyed Amy McGrath. So for y'all that didn't know, we could have won Kentucky. Cory Booker would have beaten Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. The only reason Cory Booker did not win tonight is because on the primary day, they closed polling stations in areas that had polled higher for Cory Booker, in more urban areas. They closed it down to where hundreds of thousands of people had to vote in one polling location. And these people, in majority, supported Cory Booker. And a lot of those people who were screwed out of their primary vote refused to vote for the corporate Democratic candidate, and that's why Mitch McConnell won. We could have beaten Mitch McConnell without voter fraud and suppression.
Relatively quickly in Arizona. I think nearly a quarter of the vote is in Arizona.
And so you see it blue right now. Not since Bill Clinton has Arizona ended the night. We're not at the end of the night, but not since Bill Clinton, with the help of Ross Perot, has Arizona gone blue. And so you look at it now, and you see the entire state. You see the familiar cities: Flagstaff, Sedona, Yuma, Tucson. Let's be honest, this comes down to Maricopa County and Phoenix, one of the fastest growing areas in America. 60% or more of the vote comes right out of here. 77% of it in. Again, we'll figure out what's missing from that. But Joe Biden at 54%, the president at 44, so a 10-point race. A little under 10-point race. Let's just go back and look
Let's
at
see
it.
what New York Times, if they've updated their
Again,
electoral
so Donald
college
Trump
count.
wins Arizona
It looks
4
like
years
Fox
ago.
News is pulling the
Wins
electoral
Maricopa County.
college
This is the
at
biggest basket of votes. Phoenix,
129,
the fastest-growing
109
suburbs.
right
4
now.
years later, from 2016 to 2020, this is one of the
CNN's
fastest-growing
got it
states.
at
You get out of Phoenix, you get down here,
89.72.
Goodyear and the like,
The New York
fast-growing
Times has it
suburbs.
at
Again, suburbs that were
131.98.
against this president. There's an important Senate race in this state as well. Let's come back to 2020 and look at the map. That Maricopa County is blue. Is a source of joy in the Biden campaign right now. They have to keep it
No
that
big
way.
change on
Let's look down
Arkansas
here.
House
Yuma
seats
County
yet.
again,
It's still
64, if you round that up to
45% French Hill,
35,
40%
80% of the vote in.
District
You go back
3.
here, 54. So 10 point. You're by
Yeah.
10 percentage points. You're overperforming Hillary Clinton. Just want to see
Yeah,
how
the
turnout is.
margin's getting wider in
224,000
District 2 against
4
Joyce,
years ago,
unfortunately.
already 260,000. Again, one of the gifts of this
Yeah,
election.
against
is
her.
better
The
wins.
margin's
The
getting
turnout is
wider
up
against her in
everywhere.
French.
That's a good thing. We want that to happen every time. But again, you see the split right there. Joe Biden overperforming Hillary Clinton there. You got some rural areas here to fill in the state. If you go back in time, you can see
Wow.
what happens here. The state,
Our state
but
is
this
going
it.
to remain
this is it.
all
Maricopa
red.
County, Phoenix, the suburbs around it. Again, traditionally Republican territory, increasingly because of demographics and because of the suburban revolt against the President of the United States. Maricopa County, if that holds up, that's the ball game in Arizona, but we got a ways to go there. The biggest piece of the state.
Dang, Marquita,
And again,
no good.
Wolf, we talked about this before. Both campaigns look at the last guy's map. So you look
See
at the
how
Trump map
Maine
in
is
2016.
looking.
If you're Joe Biden, priority 1, hold every Clinton state. Then look for
Maine,
things to flip.
Susan
If you
Collins.
flip
Oh
Arizona,
my
you're
gosh.
chipping away at
Only
the
11%
president.
reporting
So
in
the main
Maine.
priority for the Biden campaign is that blue wall. Let's come back out and look. This is the main priority.
Lisa
Flip
Savage,
these guys back.
5%.
Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. If you do that, that's all you have to do if you're Joe Biden. That's all you have to do. But
Louisiana,
your
Bill
backup plan,
Cassidy,
get something
wow,
else, right?
solid
North
lead.
Carolina is your hope. That one's getting close.
62%.
If you can't get these, you go over here as well. You look at North Carolina right there. That's 1,300 votes.
Basically a tie, right?
That's basically a tie.
That's
Again,
what
if you
Washington's
end it that
looking
way,
like in the
you win. A
House.
win is a win. But we got a ways to go. 86%.
No idea.
This is why they're so much fun. Let's just come back out here and see if anything's
So it looks like
updated.
Arizona,
Now, 70% here.
Mark
Look at these
Kelly,
states,
the former
the challenge
astronaut,
they
is ahead
face. Many of these states are reporting
55.5%.
pretty quickly. And the challenge they face
with
with all the different kinds of voters
69%.
here.
Wow,
That's
that's
a good thing to see.
awesome.
Just want to check. He wants to. Want to go back to Arizona? Here. I was gonna check the
Hickenlooper.
upper Midwest, but you see 70% of the vote in here.
Awesome.
And again, let's just
Hickenlooper
see-
won in
let's just see
Colorado.
here,
It's looking
70%.
like
So 4 years ago,
76 reporting,
sort of more conservative part of the
55.3%.
state, 51. This is where we are now, 51 to 46. Let's just go back, 48. So the president actually doing fine here, right? Doing better, at least so far, right there. 26,000 votes now, 25,000. So the president doing better
Okay.
here, running up some votes here. The problem for the president, when you look at it this way, though, and come back to 2020.
All right, let's go back to
is-
Arkansas.
That's great. That's what you want to do.
Arkansas is
You wanna do better
58%
everywhere you can.
reporting,
The issue is
66.4
way more
Tom
people
Cotton,
live here.
33.6 for
And
Ricky
so You
Harrington.
get 798,000, 77% in. Let's compare that to Secretary Clinton 4 years ago. She had 702,000 to end the night. We're not done yet, and she was at 45 with the president at 49. Joe Biden, 54%. That's game changing. If you can keep that there, we're still counting in Arizona, and again, that would be a flip. If I can walk over here, I just want to show you the significance of this as you come through this year. Let's come back to the president's map from 4 years ago. And again, if you're Joe Biden, and you're
You can't
looking at
run
this
away
map,
from your home because
you had a
corrupt
very comfortable
people.
lead here coming in. That would get the president down to 290. You had a lead here. That would get the president down to 280.
Let's see here.
And
If
you
you're
can
still
pick this up
here, Sherbert 42. I'm
at
looking at
269,
Associated
269,
Press.
everybody home, take a
I'm
guess.
looking at
Right
New
now,
York
269,
Times,
269, never
CNN,
ends up this way, but we do have
C-SPAN,
scenarios where it
and
happens.
Fox
Then if you're Joe
News.
Biden, you look up here in the state of Maine,
So
I think you're gonna pick up
they
the
have
second
different
congressional district.
percentages
Just
reported
that,
at different
just that,
times,
right?
but right
Michigan,
now it looks like
Wisconsin,
Associated
just-
Press
they're not each to win,
has
so I shouldn't say just.
the most
But Michigan,
accurate
Wisconsin, Arizona, and the congressional district
reporting.
There. There's also a congressional district in here, Nebraska and Maine. Do it by congressional district where Joe Biden is favored. So it is possible.
Okay,
for
they
Joe
moved
Biden
ballot
to win the
measures up to
presidency. That's a
42%.
squeaker, but that's why
So
Arizona is
they
so
moved the
important.
ballot measures
Looking
up
at
to
this map, you're
42%
thinking,
reporting.
Donald Trump, is he gonna pull
And
off
it
Pennsylvania?
looks like for Arkansas issue 1, 54.64, Arkansas issue 2, 54.9% for, and Arkansas issue 3, 56.2% against. And that's with, again, 42% reporting.
Look at the last guy's map. You take something away. That's why Arizona matters. Also, just remember the demographics of the United States. When I started covering presidential politics, that was red. That was purple, competitive state. That was red. That was red. The changing of American demographics. I know tonight we're picking a president, 2020 and beyond, but we're also watching a changing country and how it votes. And it's fascinating. Now we'll come back to here because we're not done yet on these things. But here's where we are right now.
I'm going to switch it over to Fox News for a little bit so we can kind of hear what they're talking
We're
about.
starting to fill in as we come over here. We're into the 10 o'clock hour, right? Yes, we are. I had to check the watch on that one. We're into the 10 o'clock hour, which is this is where in presidential politics, 10, 11, up to midnight.
California, Oregon, Washington State, they're about to close at the top of the hour. Those are
Check your phones. Nice work.
Well, the singing we could do without too. All right, Katie, give us your thought.
I think President Trump's still in really good shape. Joe Biden is the side of the ticket here that has been trying to explain away losing states like Florida. Georgia obviously still in play. We may not have the results now from Fulton County as a result of the water main break for a couple of days, according to election officials there. But in terms of Philadelphia not reporting any more absentee ballots tonight, and that may be taking a couple of days, the first explainer for that could be that, well,
so New York Times still has it Biden 123 electoral votes to Trump 98. It's showing Florida is up to 94% reporting now. Wow, unfortunately, it just widened the gap between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's Donald Trump 51.2, Joe Biden 47.8. Yeah, the difference of almost 400,000 votes. So Donald Trump might win Florida.
Not finishing out the electoral votes tonight in terms of getting the absentee ballots counted and ready to go for the next couple of days.
Texas is still pretty close, but only 78% reported.
At the billboard.
Hey guys, good to meet you.
Hi, Bill. What have you got up there? After you look at that, I'd love to look at Arizona and get your thoughts on that.
Sure will.
Where are we starting here?
Guys, I'm going to give you a spin around here, okay? Because there is a lot of action in these battleground states right now.
So Arizona right now is 72% votes reported, and Joe Biden is leading Arizona 54.1% to Donald Trump's 44.6%. And the difference of votes is about 202,000.
We've been saying it for a while now. Pennsylvania is not going to be able to be called tonight. Is that the case? We believe that to be the case. But look on up here. This is Lackawanna County. Still some votes to be had out there. This is Scranton, PA. This is where Joe Biden lived until the age of 9, until he moved to Delaware in 2016. For comparison's sake, well over 100,000 votes in Lackawanna. So
who cares if Joe Biden lived there when he was 9?
In that county, so we'll see whether or not the Trump team thinks that blue-collar vote in northeastern PA.
That specific county in Pennsylvania.
A couple more things I want to show you guys. This is North Carolina now. This is 0.6% in favor of Donald Trump. We saw it flip just about 10 minutes ago. Some more votes coming in. Carl talked about this.
So, actually, he's wrong. North Carolina is about 88% votes reported, and Donald Trump is in the lead, 49.6% to 49.2%. So only by 0.4%, which is, wow, less than 30,000 votes out of 5 million.
By the way, it's what the Trump team said they would do tonight. Now let's go over here to Ohio. We'll see where that stands right now. The lead continues to widen for the president over Joe Biden here. You're up about 5-6 points right now. Remember, 4 years ago, it was about 7.5. So he's starting to hit his margins with 20% of the vote still outstanding. We talked about the map expanding. Well, let's show you how that's happening here. This is Michigan. Been watching this now. You got a third of the vote in right at the moment. A big part of the vote down here in Wayne County, Detroit, is not in yet, so we're going to watch that. Further
Let's
west
see,
in
for
Wisconsin,
Senate, it looks like...
right? 38% in. The president's slight lead. I would caution.
Wow, it looks
you on
like the
this
Republicans
only
are winning a
because this is
majority of
Milwaukee
their
down here,
Senate
it's
seats
Green Bay up
tonight.
here, this is Milwaukee County.
They lost one,
You've
and then
got
they
a lot of
flipped
votes that
one.
have not yet been tallied. Milwaukee tends to run later into the night, so we'll see how this measures up. This is Dane County, by the way. That's where
Let's see,
Madison
Edwards.
is. That's where the University of Wisconsin is located.
Purdue,
They had a ton of votes for Hillary Clinton 4 years ago, so
Tills,
Joe Biden hasn't yet hit that
McConnell.
mark. She had 217,000 and 75%, so he's 144. So I would imagine in a liberal county like Dane County, Wisconsin, that there's more votes out there for Democrats to be had. One other thing I think is curious, the Trump team told me a bit earlier
So let's
tonight
take another
that
look
they have
back
about
at the
half a dozen
Arkansas
counties
Senate
in Wisconsin
race.
that ran out
We're
of
up to
ballots. They have
63%
to go out and
reporting.
get more. Some of them
So for the Arkansas Senate race, we're at 63% reporting now. We're at 66.7% for Tom Cotton, 33.3% for Ricky Harrington. So he's got about a third more votes right now. As far as U.S. House goes, all right, so District 3, we have a big change in District 3. So District 3, the race against Steve Womack and Celeste Williams, we have Steve Womack, wow, 68.6% to Celeste Williams, 27.9%. And the gap is just widening. It's about an 80,000 vote gap now. District 2, again, the gap is widening a little bit more. French Hill is ahead in District 2 with 45% reporting, 52.7% to Joyce Elliott's 47.3%, and it's the difference of about 23,000 votes. Westerman is also leading by a large margin, 68.5% to William Hanson's 28.7%, with 54% reporting. Ballot measures are up to 49% reporting, and again, it looks like 1 and 2 are going to pass, 3 is against. Let's go ahead and check New York Times on here. Looks like New York Times just updated 1 minute ago, but they're only reporting 48% and 44%.
Donald Trump pretty impressive, 51-48, so there's more votes to be had there as well. Come back to 2020, and we'll see how much more we get in here in Arizona in a moment. 11 electoral votes. We knew they closed at 9. They would not report.
So right now we're
until 10
listening to
o'clock.
Fox News, and in just a minute or two, I will switch it back
East Coast
over
time, and they're rolling in.
to
In Arizona,
CNN.
like those other states, the early vote we've seen from our voter analysis survey goes 6 out of 10 towards Biden. in pretty much every
New
state.
Mexico
But then the vote seems to fill in,
is
as we've seen in these other
only
states.
56% reported, but Biden is at 55% to Donald Trump's 43%. So he has a pretty good
That's
lead.
been the pattern back here in Ohio.
Vermont, Joe Biden, huge
Down
lead.
here in North Carolina.
And clearly in Florida.
Mhm.
Yeah, Florida, and also I would.
So
I would
Florida's
suggest
still
at
only
the moment,
94%.
with a little more than half the vote in. Georgia's shaping up to be the same way.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, this
Huh?
whole question about
2020 just like that, isn't it?
No, he's on
about
his
whether
off.
there's
He
a
was in
path through the Sun
2018.
Belt or through the Rust Belt. You know, we're starting to see that Sun Belt area. That's why I wanted to take a look at Arizona, and I
See,
saw that
Georgia,
there's a pretty
it's still only
decent gap right now
52%
between
votes
Martha
in for
McSally and
Georgia,
Mark
so that
Kelly,
could still go either
in
way.
favor of Mark Kelly, at least at
North
this
Carolina
point.
is still
I
pretty
think we have about
close. Now they're within a
71% of the votes in the
0.6%
state
margin, with
so
88%
one to
of the
watch
votes
as we get a little
counted.
bit closer to that one.
All right, Bill. Thank you.
Bill.
Talk you back later.
So the polls are closed in the biggest toss-up states in the race for the White House. We're going to bring you all the latest data from our decision desk as it comes in.
All right,
Plus,
I'm going to go
Laura
ahead and
Ingraham
switch
is
the
on deck to
audio
join us as our Democracy 2020
away
coverage
from
rolls
Fox
on
News.
after this.
All right, let's get that Fox News off of there and get CNN back on.
Blue here, but you come back to 2012, this is the difference, right? Can Joe Biden,
So I'm
the
just
guy who was
switching
number
back
2
and
to Barack
forth
Obama on the
because
ticket, win back
there's a
some
lot of
these areas that
conjecture.
Barack Obama won when he
It's a
carried
lot
these
of
states, many of them
people
quite
just
convincing.
guessing, and people like to guess when they don't have all the information. So that's why I'm going back and forth so we can kind of hear both sides on how they're talking and what
We're
they're
very
thinking.
early in the county of Michigan right now, a long way to go. And so again, if you're looking at the map from home, you say, if you're a Republican, you say, wow. If you're a Democrat, you say, uh-oh. But we're not done. We got a long way to go.
We certainly do. Let's go check in with Jake, Dana, and Abby.
Thanks, Wolf. So we need to caution our viewers out there. It's early. Whether you're rooting for Trump or you're rooting for Biden, it's early. We're still counting the votes. I don't know if this is 2016 or 2018. You might remember in 2018, things looked really bad for Democrats or uncertain early on. But then, after not just midnight struck, but a couple days, you saw that actually it had been a really great night for Democrats. On the other hand, it could be 2016 with things breaking for President Trump. We don't know. Everyone needs to just take a deep breath out.
Which is hard. Look, this is a nation that is on edge, so it's understandable. But as you said, as we have been telegraphing as we've approached tonight, it could take a while, and it is bearing out. And what I'm hearing from Democrats in particular, over and over, text after text, let's just wait and see what happens up north. Let's just wait and see what happens, meaning Michigan, Wisconsin, and not as north, but more further north, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Arizona is still an unanswered question about what's going on there, but this is what happens when
right.
you have a lot of battlegrounds. And in this cycle,
It looks like we are up to 64% reporting, and Arkansas was 66.7, still to Tom Cotton 33.3 to Ricky Harrington.
all the votes to come in to really know where this thing is headed. I do think that based on where we are right now, we're in the choose your own adventure part. We're in the part of the choose your own adventure where we really need the patience. We really need people to just wait until it comes in, because it's not going to be an easy, early, quick night for people. These votes are coming in little by little, and it's tight in a lot of
48.
And when the polls would say,
I don't understand how when I look at New York Times for the U.S. Senate election and New York Times for the presidential election, why are the percentages different? Like if you have one ballot is one ballot, why are they only recording 5% less for U.S. Senate than they are 5% more for the presidential race? When the same amount of ballots should have been
it really does come
accounted
up with the three
for.
states up north, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin,
It just
Michigan,
doesn't make
and
a lot of
also
sense.
Arizona. Those are the states that the Biden campaign has focused most on, and we still don't know.
All
what's
right, let's see
going
what some of the other races are here.
One of the things that you heard a lot from the Trump folks leading up to today is that they knew their job was just to get their people out, and just to get them to the polls and ignore all of the public.
All right, let's take a look at some of our state Senate and our state House seats. So it looks, oh my gosh, this is one of the big problems here with Arkansas. So let's go over our state Senate House seats, or our state Senate seats for Arkansas first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the Arkansas state Senate seats are Republicans running unopposed. No opponent. They will not be voted on. They automatically win. And we have 1 Democrat who is running uncontested, who will automatically win as well. So it's looking like Hester is going to win in District 1. Hester is a very interesting person because he worked for Tom Cotton, and after he worked for Tom Cotton and became a state senator, he actually... for those of y'all that don't know, the reason that a lot of the media is saying Tom Cotton is running unopposed is because there's no Democratic opponent. And there's no Democratic opponent because they found dirt on the Democrat and waited until after the filing period was over, and then they released that dirt and got the Democrat to drop out after the filing deadline with no other Democrats having filed. So when they got this dirt in May of 2019, it was verified by two state representatives or two state legislators. And one of those state legislators that verified this information was Bart Hester. Now, when Bart Hester verified this information, they say it was May. We're not sure exactly when it was, but he also submitted a bill to raise the signature requirements for third-party candidates to get ballot access from 10,000 to over 26,000. So when he submitted that bill to make it harder for third-party ballot candidates to get ballot access, he already knew there was dirt on the Democrat because he verified it. That's Bart Hester, and he is going to win his race. It looks like Hendren is going to win, Republican. Beckham, 57% is going to win. Clark, 75%. Gilmore, 54. Garner, 59. Ooh, English, only 52%. So it looks like, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 out of 17 state Senate seats will have gone to Republicans in Arkansas. It looks like for the state house... I want to see one real quick. Where's Caleb Harwell?
No, you're right. Hey, and by the way, he's an incumbent president who has inherited...
Harwell, he got 30% of the vote. That's better than I thought he would get. All right. That's probably just Democrats who don't know who he is but voted for him because he's a Democrat.
All right, Jake, thank you. We love the
And then, okay, so we have a lot of uncontested Republicans also running for state seats, for our state House seats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Oh my gosh. We have 45 Republican state representatives running uncontested. That means people aren't even going to get the opportunity or the option to vote for them. It's an uncontested race. It's just insane. Of course, there are uncontested Democrats as well. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there are 14 uncontested Democrats as well. So that means the majority of state senators, state Senate races, or I'm sorry, state House races, are running unopposed. We have to do something about that. We have to fix it. We have to make sure that we are getting our children interested in politics, that we're talking to our neighbors about politics, that we are getting people to want to run to get change. Here in Arkansas, we have some of the lowest wages in America. We have some of the highest taxes in America. We have children going to bed hungry at night because their parents can't afford food because they're living in poverty. We have a child poverty rate of 25% here in Arkansas. And why? It's because we have people not interested in politics. We have people that won't run against these uncontested candidates. We need to get excited. We need to look at what's at risk. If we want change, if we want things to get better for ourselves and our families and our friends, We need to make sure that we are running for office, that we are doing things however we can to make sure that there are not going to be 60 out of 80 seats running unopposed. That's just not going to work.
Can he hold it? We'll watch that as we play it out. The Republicans feel good about that. We're coming down to Florida now, and you look here, a 5.6 million for the president, 5.2, higher turnout.
Looking
in
at some of
Florida,
these
very
other races
competitive
as
race.
well.
Again, we have to wait. We're going to count some things here, but Democrats are not happy, particularly with down here in Miami-Dade, 53%. You see 53-46, you think that's great, but that's way below where Hillary Clinton was 4 years ago. So you're looking at this map here. The plus side for the Democrats is out here in Arizona, where Joe Biden right now, 75% of the vote, 54 if you round up to 45. That's a big shift from 4 years ago when the president won at 49, 45, a 4-point race. You see the president, Joe Biden, the Democrat, above 50 there. So let's just put this into context. Number one, this was the name of the game in 2016. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done. Some of these states could go on.
Oh, it looks like Ricky Harrington did win one county. The one county he won was, Pulaski County. Is Pine Bluff Jefferson or Pulaski? It might be Pulaski.
But the question is, the name of the game, well, if I'm going to switch maps here, is this is where we are right now. 94 to 72. There are no surprises on this map so far. Everything we see filled in is the way we thought it would go coming into the night. There are also, though, if you think about out here, where we haven't counted votes yet because it's still early in the night, people are still voting.
But we still have a lot of all these Delta counties still haven't been counted yet.
If you will, Nevada was the one Clinton state. The Trump campaign made a run. We'll see, but we expect that to stay Democratic, which is why things get interesting.
Is
now,
what
again,
one?
We haven't called
Jefferson,
some of these close
okay.
states, but this is the calculation in both of the campaign war rooms. This is where Donald Trump started. Joe Biden has to look at this map and say, what do I take away?
So it looks like for the Arkansas U.S. Senate election, they are up to 71% reporting. And with 71% reporting, U.S. Senate Arkansas, Tom Cotton 65.6, Ricky Harrington 34.4.
Targets of opportunity. Can we get these states that are? Can we get a
President 73% reporting, Donald Trump 61.6, Joe Biden 35.7, which is, I believe, even more votes than he had against Hillary Clinton, which I think he won with 60%.
Arizona yet either, but as you project it out, so okay, now you got the president at 295. If you're not going to get Ohio, haven't called it yet. Possibility some votes out, North Carolina or Florida.
Over a million at this point.
Number one, let's just assume for the sake of argument, Joe Biden gets the congressional district here. Hard to see if there is a Trump election day surge. The president went out.
Let's try to see what these other states are doing with the electoral for presidents are at. Texas is up to 80% now, 51.1%. Trump, 47.5%. Biden. Florida is still only at 94%.
Right? And so Joe Biden, 1, 2, gets you to the finish line. You don't absolutely need Pennsylvania. If you win Maine 2nd Congressional District, if you win Nebraska...
So I think at this point it's looking like Donald Trump is going to get reelected.
Without Florida, without Georgia, without North Carolina, without Ohio, and without Pennsylvania. But you have to win these two, right? If you can win this as well, then it's game over. We've always known if Joe Biden could rebuild the blue wall, forgive me, Donald Trump would pay for it. The question is, can he make it happen when right now, if you look over here...
Where'd they say that at? Where?
Democrats get nervous because they remember...
On which one?
We cannot emphasize enough. We're nowhere close to the finish line in any of those states.
The guy split the vote without being on the ballot.
We need to count
you know,
those counts could take until tomorrow.
I don't know how I could split the vote without being on the ballot.
More menu options. Some of those menu options appear to be closing. We're not done yet, but we still have.
It's not my fault people will not vote for libertarians because they do not believe in the libertarian ideology.
Joe Biden had many menu options coming into the night. That list is narrowing, which is why you get into tense time.
California is going to be closing in just about an hour and a half.
Yeah, just exactly what John was talking about. I know it's red on the map right now, but we gotta make sure we count the votes here. So what you see is Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in Pennsylvania.
So they're saying Nevada's already called, but I don't see Nevada showing up on here. But their polls did close 35 minutes ago.
Only 18% of it currently is early vote. And we know that Joe Biden is doing much better in the early vote. We expect that 18% to go all the way up to 45% So there's a
Let's see, U.S. Senate's at 72% reporting.
and that could benefit Joe Biden.
Let's see if the House has changed at all. 61% reporting. Womack leads greatly. 69% in District 4. Bruce Westerman leads greatly.
Early voting, a record number of early voting that we've seen in some states taking a lot longer to count that early voting.
Right. Look, the battleground states are always complicated to begin with. Remember Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin 4 years ago. Remember Florida 4 years ago. Even North Carolina for a while we were looking at it. And then it's spaced out. So they're always complicated anyway. They're all the
So they're at 75% for Arizona now, 53.7% Joe Biden, 45% Donald Trump. Wow. Could you imagine if Arizona goes from red to blue?
Philadelphia County, Philadelphia City, and the counties around it. This is by far, it's 12% or more, depending on turnout, of the vote in Pennsylvania, 22%. So when I pull this back out and you see the state red, okay, again, you always want to be leading.
So many incumbents are winning their Senate seats.
In the sense that we have nothing here. Let's just come over here to Montgomery County, 16%.
Wow, Doug Jones lost his to Tommy Tuberville.
Is the name of the game. Democrats have to run up a huge lead.
Graham kept his, Tills kept his,
Of the suburban counties
Warmer.
If you go back 4 years ago, you'll see this one 48-47, Bucks County 4 years ago. The challenge for Joe
Wow,
Biden
might lose Michigan seat.
50 to 48, that's about the same more or less. But again, 12% there. 16% of the estimated vote here. Chester County
Might have taken from Iowa, possibly.
Come back to Delaware County, 16%. So this is where the overwhelming bulk of the vote.
Yeah, I'm going to end it here soon.
Pennsylvania is Philadelphia and the suburban core around it. I'll just bring this up a little bit. And we don't have many votes. We're still in the single digits or the early teens. We got a long way to go.
Let's see,
and so then you come over, you move over to the middle of the state.
Georgia
Again,
special
52%
election.
Here, Harrisburg. The president, we know the president is going to run it.
Wow,
up
that's gonna be
places
close,
like this.
actually.
You get these counties here, 95%, of the vote in here. The president has 70, 68%. The president has 82. Not a lot of people live here, but again, this is how the president does it. In the smaller, more rural counties, he runs it up big. So the challenge again is we talked about Joe Biden. Not leading in Ohio right now, but more competitive than Hillary Clinton.
So I'm not really seeing much of a change for the Electoral College. Oh, they just did change it. Joe Biden, 131 Electoral College votes, and Donald Trump, 108.
62, 63 to 36 if you round it up. 64 to 33. It's pretty close. We'll see Biden maybe a little bit higher.
New Hampshire for Biden. Let's see.
If it's very close. And we'll watch Allegheny as well, but a long way to count.
Quick break. We have a lot more coming up right after this.
This says New Hampshire is still only 36% reported, with Joe Biden at 53.8% and Donald Trump at 44.9%. So I think that could still go either way at this point.
Loved ones, over money, over our planet.
Let's see how Maine is going with Senate. Susan Collins is going to retain her. Wow. All right. Well, y'all can see how it's going. Unfortunately, here in Arkansas, looks like Donald Trump, 62%, definitely secured his win here. U.S. Senate, Tom Cotton was able to suppress our ballot, rig our election, and secure his win here. The U.S. House, all four Republicans are strongly in the lead. And the ballot measures, it looks like 1 and 2 are going to pass and 3 will not pass. So, wow, we got one win out of everything. It'll be, we were able to win on issue number 3. That's about it. And what that'll do is that'll allow us to continue the same signature collection process for ballot initiatives to get ballot, initiatives onto our ballots to be voted on. Now, unfortunately, looking around the country at all of the different Senate races, all the different Congress races, pretty much our House is staying almost the same. The U.S. Senate is staying mostly the same. And the problem that I'm seeing with this is the problems that we're facing are going to stay mostly the same. Nothing's going to fundamentally change. So I'm curious to see if Joe Biden will win the presidency or if Donald Trump will win the presidency. But as far as the Senate and Congress goes, it looks like we will not see much change. So, man, I guess what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to figure out where to go from here. So what we will do is let's wait to see how tonight turns out. It's going to be a long morning for most of us, and we can look at all the different results, try to determine why different things happened. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out where we go from here and what we are going to do to make sure that in 2022 we do not allow this same thing to happen. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I don't even know how long this live stream was. I just figured grab some vodka, 2 hours, and talk to y'all about politics. But awesome, sorry again for my COVID hair. I need a haircut. I'm just not going out to get one. It is No Shave November. I'm growing my beard out. Let's see how big I can get it in the next month. I am going to begin my campaigning tomorrow. I will be meeting with my leadership team tomorrow, and we will go over strategy and where to start. And yes, tomorrow.
We need a day off.
No days off. There ain't no rest for the wicked. And so I will kind of let you all know what's going on either tomorrow evening or the next day. And, we got to figure out how to start taking our country back from these special interests that have purchased it. And,
No, new people, what's the new party? I think
the movement for a People's Party.
It will be born
I
after
think,
this election.
and that's something we can talk about tomorrow. The movement for a People's Party is going to be very interesting. What's going to happen with them over the next couple weeks. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks, y'all. Just hang out, keep following, share my stuff, and we'll get the message out. One thing that I want to mention again that was really, really cool was Fox News did some polls today. And in these Fox News polls, we were able to see that I think it was like 70% of the Republicans that took this Fox News poll said that they want government-funded health care. They want Medicare for all. So if we're looking at 80% of Democrats wanting Medicare for all, 70% of Republicans wanting Medicare for all, and then, taking into account independents and Green Party and things like that, I think it's safe to say more than 3/4 of Americans want Medicare for all. So we need to look into candidates that are supporting Medicare for all and start backing this policy and talking about it more. And we need to make sure we're educating candidates that say they're backing Medicare for all on how it works. That way, when they're challenged by their Republican counterparts or their Democratic counterparts, they can explain to the public how it is going to save people and their families just insane amounts of money while saving lives at the same time. So awesome. Just wanted to share that little bit of information with y'all. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. I haven't done any interviews in a little bit, and I don't think I'll do any more. I will try to do a live stream this Saturday to update y'all on what's going on, and I'll start doing my weekly live streams on Saturday evenings again. I'll talk to you about that in a sec. I already looked at it, and I'll show you. You can come over here and look. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this evening, talking politics, all of your questions and all of your good stuff and your support and everything. Y'all are amazing. I love y'all. Don't stay up too late with all this stress. Get some sleep. You can wake up in the morning, and whether you go to bed right now or whether you go to bed in 4 hours and wait for it all to be done, it's still going to be the same results in the morning. So get some sleep and get ready for your day tomorrow. But thank you guys so much. I just want to say thank you again. For like the millionth time, I'm sorry, it's vodka. I knew it would be a long night. But may God bless y'all, may God bless America, and may God bless Arkansas and the people here within.